Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live.
And we're back. I'm still inviting people.
Welcome to the Underdog Journey. I'm West. This guy is David. And we will see if Skype lets us get through the whole show this time. So the platform that we use, so we use a couple different platforms to stream this show. One of them is Skype. So David, joins me on Skype. It feeds into this other platform that feeds into a third platform and eventually makes its way out to the internet. And Skype
To the internet.
was supposed to be completely turned off and deprecated on the 5th. And they're still live. They're still going. So
Yeah, we'll see
we'll
if it makes
see.
it through the whole show.
We're playing with fire.
Yeah, we are. Man, we are. We tell everybody, don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. And they'll look at us.
Well, see, David, it's not procrastination. It's an experiment. It's a technology experiment.
Yes, it's an experiment that's not at all going to bite us right in the ass.
We're seeing how far we can push it until we just crash the entire internet.
Yep. Okay.
I just got your invite, David. Thank you.
You're welcome. I see that. I was like, I don't have time to go back. I don't have time to go back and uncheck that box.
David, how you been?
It was a busy beginning of the week. I bumped a cable. Don't shut off.
Do not bump cables.
Yeah, I moved it to the other side this week because I'm a very animated talker anyway, so I moved to the other side hoping they would be out of the way. But it started out as a busy week, and I got a lot of stuff on the front end loaded. So I was able to take this afternoon. When I say off, I went out and mowed the grass and stuff, but I keep up on my email and I'm still planning because most of my work happens in here, right in there.
Well, as it does, I get it.
Yeah. So it didn't do too bad. And tomorrow I've got the whole day blanked out. I'm not taking any meetings or anything, but I will be checking email and then just kind of taking it easy. But I live up here. I live in central New York. I live up north. Somebody said today I was on a meeting. He's like, "Yeah, you're up there in Canada," and I kind of gave it a little bit. But it was 48 degrees today. It was cool.
It's uncalled for, David.
Yeah, but it's been raining. It's been raining like I moved to Seattle or something out here, man.
Right, so wet and cold. Again, that's all bad.
Yeah. So somebody recommended that I move south. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. You don't make a good argument. It may be nice right now, but in a month, for the next 2 to 3 months,
right,
you're going to be Satan's saggy armpit. And right. I'm not necessarily looking for that.
Well, you could come back to Columbus where it's either freezing ass cold or Satan's armpit. So it's up to you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I like it up here. I could deal with a little cool weather.
Little cold weather. I've heard stories about your winters, David. It's not.
Yeah. Oh, I got to fix my deck. Did I tell you about that? I don't know if I told the internet about this.
You didn't tell the world.
My deck sunk like 8 inches into the ground.
Just from the weight of the snow.
In places. From the weight of the snow.
That's not natural. There's nothing good about that.
Yeah, with the drifts and everything, at one point, I mean, you couldn't see out the like the sliding glass door in the sunroom. You couldn't see out we had to shovel a path out and then up and over so that the dogs could go
Yeah,
outside.
no, there's nothing good about that.
Ah, and come this summer when I'm, sitting outside and I'm, waist deep in the pool, smoking a cigar, drinking bourbon, while everybody else is, begging for reprieve, then I'll be like, this is why I'm here.
Yeah, for about those 2 weeks that you get that are just like
Yeah,
primo. That's it's all
we
worth it for
we
those 2 weeks.
we get a few months. We get usually by this time, there's a lot of people that have their pools open already up here, but I just refuse to do it early this year.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, because I mean, that's not. I'm not. Nobody's using their pools, but
Yeah, not in the
if you're
40s.
like have a company come out and take care of them, you get on a schedule, and whenever they can get you, that's when you go.
Well, sure.
So
Because
yeah,
most
I'm
people
not ready.
have a pool and they got a pool guy and monocle collection and a couple of wine cellars in your. I get it. It's you have a hard life, Dave. Gotta
No,
rub
I
that
don't
in.
have any wine cellars.
Keep rubbing some salt in
yet.
that wound there. It's awesome.
Yet I don't have wine cellars yet. I am thinking about putting one down in the basement though.
Well, you got the room. You got the room.
Yeah, there is tons of space down there. There's tons of space. So yeah, how about you? How was your week?
You know what? Right now, it's been super busy, and then right now it's like a lot of hurry up and wait. I'm waiting for a couple of like really important things before I can get to the next step of other things.
Yeah.
So until certain things move and certain things happen, I can't do these other things that like require this thing to happen. So it's a little bit of nail biting, just a little bit of toe tapping, waiting for things to happen. But Underdog Bones are back in full swing at local farmers markets near you. Not near you, but near me. And everybody else can go to underdogplus.com and get your delicious Underdog Bones. The other big projects that I'm working on are soon.
Shrouded
Yes,
in secrecy.
very, very soon. So
deep fried in allegory, and then smothered with a coat of conspiracy theory.
There you go. Also, just so everybody knows, Matt Harmon was gonna join us tonight, but
He had a boo boo.
Well, he has bad knees, and he said he got some kind of injection in his knee that made it so he can't put any pressure on it at all. So it's probably best he's staying at home right now, because normally just hearing him walk on the steps in my house, like it sounds like he's going to crash down those steps and then die, and I don't want to have to haul his dead corpse back up the stairs.
Yeah.
So it's probably best he stays home right now. So Matt, if you're watching, we hope you feel better.
I mean,
well, I hope you feel better, David.
He could be drinking some.
I'm
just saying he could be drinking some bourbon and automatically start feeling better.
See, that helps.
On that note, what are you drinking tonight?
All right. Well, I'm still working my way through this bottle of Tin Cup. It's good go-to.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I love Tin Cup. It's delicious. It's accessible. It's a good go-to. What about you?
Isn't that great? How important accessibility is?
Yeah. Well,
accessibility and availability.
Well, so it's figuratively accessible and literally accessible in that it's easy to find, but also it's like it's not one you really got to think about. It's like when you just sit down and just have a good bourbon that you're like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to pull out the flavor profiles. I'm just drinking a good bourbon. I'm relaxing. I might read a little bit of a good book and just chill out. That's what it is. So there are some really good bourbons that you're like you want to examine and think about.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
This is not one of those. This is just want to sit down and have a sip and just relax.
So I went back and I dug back into the opens that I've had, and like I said, I've been trying to drink through them, and I reached behind the Weller and the Taylor and the Blantons and a couple other things, and I went back and I found
Blackened.
No, I've got that. I almost grabbed it.
I love that bottle, by the way. That is a cool bottle.
The Willet pot still.
That is a great bottle.
Man, I've had this for many Christmas.
Yeah, you've had that for a couple of years, I think.
Oh, this is nearly 4 years old.
Yeah, now. I was gonna say.
So this is the night I went down to the cigar lounge and kind of became one of the group.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys down there see me sitting over in a corner by myself. As I do, I don't really mingle a lot.
Yeah, not you. You're very antisocial.
But I didn't know anybody. You know, I just started. I don't know anything about. I didn't know a damn thing about cigars, and I knew even less about bourbon because I was a beer guy. And he was like, "No, let's get you." He came over, talked to me, and started going through stuff. And he's like, I remember I had a bottle. Oh no, I remember which bottle I had. I had this bottle, the
There you
1792.
go.
So here's
Another
another one
great
that's
bottle.
nearly 40
Yeah.
years old.
Good stuff.
And so I decided to pull those out, and I was like, the Kentucky Derby was like what, last weekend?
It was.
So
Did you have yourself a mint julep?
I do not. It's still a cocktail to me. I'm not a big cocktail drinker. So this is the Calumet, and as you can see, that'll be the one that goes first tonight.
Nice.
This is the small batch. This is the 15 and the 8-year blend. So it's low. It's a 43%. It's 86 proof, but Calumet is absolutely phenomenal drinking. My favorite one so far has been the 16-year, but I mean, it's a 16-year bourbon. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
but you can't find it everywhere. And some people, when they get it, you know, they're very proud of it. So the blends, the 15 and the 8. Somebody told me they found a 15-year bottle somewhere, and they told me the number on it. I was like, wow, don't buy that. That's wildly overpriced. The 15 years not that bad. The 16 years a lot harder to come by.
Okay.
And it does fetch a pretty good price. But we're going to start with the Calumet small batch. This is the blend of the 15.
Good stuff. You know, it does nobody any good just sitting on a bottle on a shelf. The only way it's worth anything is if you drink it. That's it.
Exactly. So we're gonna.
Jim Matner says excellent bourbon. Jim, you're not wrong.
Jim. He is correct. And I'm going to save that little bit right there. And where does that go, Wes?
Infinity bottle.
That goes in the infinity bottle. So
that's what it's all about.
We're going to set this aside. And I thought about bringing the infinity bottle over tonight. It's behind my head. I got to wait for the time to catch back up. But I think it's on this side, like right there in front of the guitar. You can just see a little bit of the reflection on it. But you can see just a little bit of the reflection on it. And this will go, that little bit will go in there.
So do you only have one infinity bottle, or do you have like a couple different infinity bottles based on whiskey types?
So no, I only have one infinity bottle. I do not put rye in the infinity bottle. I do have 2 decanters over there. One is the infinity bottle, and I don't know which way, that one right there. Well, we've got a delay because I can't see live.
Right.
But the one that's closer to the white guitar, whichever side my head needs to go to, I think it's the side. Actually,
it's there. There it is.
The one that's over there, that one is cask strength. I haven't drank anything today. Cask strength blackened.
There you go. That's
anybody
good stuff.
Who hasn't had it yet, gee, many Christmas. It is amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm going to give you the warning right now.
Okay.
Be careful. Be careful with that whiskey.
Well,
because
really any good cask strength. I mean, they'll hit you before you realize what's going on. I mean, there have been a couple times you and I have been at La Chivetta Cigar Lounge, and which one was that you brought that was the cask strength? And
the horse soldier.
You had the horse soldier there, and I mean half that place was feeling pretty good by the end of the night because it hits you before you realize it. It's strong, man.
Yeah, it gets pretty potent. Horse soldier is really good though. I seen it the other day. I almost bought a bottle of it. The cask, the barrel strength or whatever they call theirs, is about $85 a bottle if you can find it in the wild.
Okay.
And the blackened cask strength is about $48 when you find it in the wild now.
Oh wow!
For a while it was
much better.
For a while it was a lot more expensive than that. For a while you couldn't find it under $150.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say
now it's down
to $48 a bottle. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I might have to look for that. That's pretty decent.
Yes, it is good.
But I'll never find it because whiskey liquor shops around me suck. But I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, it's the only one. Again, I remember which side. Yeah, this side.
There you go.
It's the only whiskey that goes in that. It's my nice crystal decanter.
Nice. So I have 2 infinity bottles. I have one for whiskey, and I have one for Scotch.
Oh, okay.
So my whiskey one, I'm pretty liberal with. I'll put bourbon or Irish whiskey in there, but not Scotch. The flavor profiles are too different.
I would go bourbon and Irish whiskey or Canadian whiskey, also known as water, have wildly different
Well, why am I
flavor
drinking? Well, why am I
profiles as
drinking
well.
a Canadian whiskey? That's not even a real thing. It's not even.
Well, I
It's
mean,
basically. It's, I mean, as the song goes, they're not even a real country.
yeah. So I've been messing with a lot of them on the internet. I just like hashtag 51.
Ouch. Yeah, that's. I don't go that
Oh,
far.
it
That's.
sends them through. It sends them through the roof. I'm loving it.
That's.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
love it.
that'll raise some eyebrows. So I haven't gone that far saying it to someone's face. So
Oh, I would.
I've
Actually, I got to
heard.
go to Canada here
I mean,
soon. So
there are serious rumors that are bubbling up that Alberta might try and secede. Actually,
yeah,
so
yep, that's going to be an interesting one there.
Catherine, how you doing?
What?
Just
Oh,
thumbs
yeah,
up. That's all we
delay.
get. How was school today?
She got her cat ears on. I can't see her yet.
She does. It's.
Okay.
I think they're getting ready for bed. Ooh, you smell like peanut butter cup. Were you eating
Smell like a peanut butter cup.
Yeah, I thought so. You guys going to bed? Mwah. Good night, guys.
Good night, Catherine.
No, that's all I get.
You still have it?
I just get a thumbs up. Yeah, well, I'm on the internet. I can't eat it when I'm talking to people, but I'm saving it. I'm totally gonna eat it.
Okay.
Good night, buddy.
All right, Mr. Lachlan.
All right, that's the level of affection I get from my kids.
Yeah. You guys need to go upstairs and start a mosh pit.
It sounds like they've been doing that already. So they're on their way to bed right now, which is basically a mosh pit on the way into bed. So
Yeah.
good times, good times. David, are you ready
Good
for
times.
news?
Great oldies. Now,
Hmm?
yes, but
You
we
say.
have to let everyone know that due to, we'll call it bandwidth, or
Bandwidth.
what, Skype,
Well,
or
Skype. Well, we're gonna
whatever
say
it
Skype.
is, I am behind. I can only see what you guys are seeing when you see it.
So I think
So-
I think it is Skype because Skype, it's supposed to be deprecated by now. So their apps,
Yeah.
there's no way they're actually maintaining their systems or services. So I think it's just running on fumes at this point. So I can't share my screen to David in real time. So he actually has to see it on Facebook at the same time everyone else does. So there will be a bit of delay when he can see things. So let me know when you can actually see the screen that I'm sharing.
And while we're
Oh,
getting
I got
that, while we're getting that
trees.
pulled up, we'll ask you guys what you guys are having tonight for drinks. So, Jim,
It's a great question.
what are you having this evening?
I see John Calendar's also watching. John, what are you drinking? It's been a while.
John
I'm curious.
Calendar.
And John
Hey, I've not
Calendar,
seen
he
a-
is
I've
he's
not
a
seen a single inappropriate message yet. So I would have never known he's there.
and John's a whiskey expert. Like he knows his stuff.
Yeah,
So
John. Yeah, John forgot more today about whiskey than I'll ever know.
he's killed more brain cells via whiskey than I'll ever have.
Yes. What's funny is now I can see the article that's pulled up. Is I watched a couple of little short reels or videos or whatever it is on the Facebook as you scroll about this exact thing
Yeah. So
earlier today.
a physicist says he's identified a clue that we're living in a computer simulation. So everybody, I'm sure everybody's aware of the theory by now, but the idea is that the universe itself is actually a giant computer simulation, kind of like a real-time video game. And there's a number of different reasons why that might have been created. But some scientists actually think we actually are, whether it's just going by
Yeah,
sheer
Neil deGrasse
statistics.
Tyson says it's 50-50.
Well, you know what? Here's an argument that I forget whose argument this was, but somebody said, okay, it's inevitable that computer processing will reach a point to where you can simulate, from a subjective point of view, an entire universe, whether that universe is only real for a single entity, or for maybe a single planet, or possibly for everyone in that universe. It's just a matter of how powerful a computer you can make, right? And in that case, are you going to make just one, or are you going to make as many as you possibly can to get to experiment with different things within that universe? Now, think about the cultures and civilizations living in that simulated universe at some point they're going, if they think they're real, at some point they're probably going to develop a simulated universe themselves, and so on and so on and so on, all the way down the line. Uh, that being the case, statistically, what are the chances that we are living in universe prime? Statistically, very, very slim. It's a paraphrase of the argument. I didn't word it very well, but you kind of get the idea. So,
Yeah,
look,
Musk says 1 in millions, and Tyson says 50-50.
there you go. All right. So Jim says, no drinking. Have to get my mom from the facility, so I am the only one having ice water.
I'm only having ice water. Yeah, I got ice water right here.
Yep.
I got your back.
Jim, you got to hydrate. I totally understand. You got to hydrate. So let's see. What is the new evidence this person has?
Let's see.
In a new paper published.
Your background.
In a new paper published in the journal AIP, it advances. University of Portsmouth physicist yada 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 offered a new
University of Portsmouth, Ohio, or what's here?
Portsmouth, just University of Portsmouth. Physicist Melvin Vopson. So I don't know.
That doesn't sound made up at all.
Offered a new interpretation of gravity, arguing that it could be the result of the universe trying to make itself less cluttered, thereby having behaving much like a computer algorithm. Basically saying that gravitational forces are essentially serving a purpose of organizing data to have less random activity within the computer simulation. Essentially.
So it's defragging its hard drive.
Kinda. I mean, kinda. That's actually a pretty good way to look at it.
Well, I mean, to me, it's only.
But look,
it could be prioritizing RAM buffer or RAM itself, but I figured most people would be a lot more familiar with defragging the hard drive.
There you go. But look, at the end of the day, maybe we are living in a simulation, but you still have to pay your taxes. You still got to go to work or face deletion. So, one way or another, it doesn't really matter, frankly.
Yeah, whoever wrote this code can suck it.
And as crazy as it's been over the last 5 or 6 years, does anybody really doubt that somebody is just tweaking the simulation just a little bit? I mean, just a little bit.
No, because we're not living in a simulation.
Why don't you think we're living in a simulation, David?
It's just knowing the math behind something as simple as rendering a predetermined video game is insane, and they still look fake as can be.
Well, with our level of technology. If you took David, hang on.
What you don't understand, West. What you don't understand is, if we are created by a simulation, we automatically have a starting point of that technology.
Not necessarily.
Absolutely necessary.
Not necessarily. I mean, we have video games that take place in the prehistoric Stone Age. There are video games where people are fighting dinosaurs instead of talking on smartphones.
This is okay. So that's ROM. So let's focus. That's a written code, read-only memory. So that is. But
so hang on. So you're thinking about a computer simulation as if you're looking at it from the outside. Think of it from the inside. You don't realize you're in a computer simulation. Look at the Matrix. They don't realize they're in the Matrix. And
computer simulation inside is evolving. So how does that function?
No. So hang on. But again, you're thinking about it very, very two-dimensionally. The computer simulation isn't evolving. The computer simulation can remain constant. The entities within that computer simulation can evolve without the simulation itself needing to change a single thing within its code.
You're saying we're leveling up?
Basically. So there are actually video games.
I hate it when I poke holes in my own theory.
So there are actually video games where you can play as a single-celled organism, and gradually the single-celled organism evolves and gets more advanced and gets more crazy. What's so different?
No.
Just saying. Just saying.
No,
We're in the Matrix, David.
we're not.
It's time to deal with. We're in the Matrix. It's time to deal with it.
I want you to change my name on the thing next week to Neo.
Keanu.
Oh,
All right.
yes.
Let's. All right. Next one. Since David's not buying the simulation theory.
Yeah, I don't buy it. And that's a common thing for me, though. I don't buy the simulation. I mean, I see the automation processes. I see all this technology. I see all of it. None of it comes close to being able to render what you and I can see on a daily basis. If you were to try to take the most powerful computer in the world, all of them, and have them just run the simulation of a tree, it would be enough to crash the system.
Again, with our current level of technology.
To render it
Hang
enough
on.
that to our perception looks like a real,
Sure.
actual tree.
With our current level of technology.
Yeah.
Because here's the fallacy. Here's the fallacy that people fall into, where they say, "Well, you can't possibly."
You can't say that without wearing a monocle, man.
Well, I have glasses. I'll wear those. Dave. All right. So, David, here's the fallacy.
Where are my glasses?
Here's the fallacy people commonly make with simulation theory. They say that there's no way any computer in the universe could render every atom in the universe, every molecule, every subatomic particle, traveling through the universe. There's no way any of that could ever be rendered by any computer, no matter how advanced. Those are people who've never worked in the video game industry. In video games, when you have a rendered world, even a real-time rendered world, it's not rendering every cell within that tree or every particle within the chair.
JIT, just in time.
Well, let's break it down for people who don't actually understand that rhetoric, David. So you're not rendering the subatomic particles that make up this chair. What you're doing is you're rendering, very roughly, a chair. And if somebody wants a closer look, the closer they get to it, the more it renders within that chair. You look at the background of a pre-rendered space within a video game. Those mountains aren't actually there. It's a very rough, rendering of those mountains. Now, they will render deeper detail when you actually get closer to them, but it doesn't need to render those in super fine detail until you look closer. And as we all know, the double slit experiment.
If I had to make a bet, I would have been like, he's going to move out of this directly into the double slit experiment.
The double slit experiment shows us that our observation of subatomic particles makes them behave differently. Why would that possibly be in a universe that isn't observing our observation of it?
But what if we observe them after they've already went?
Right. Now, that's what I call retrocausality. And retrocausality, as you know, David, is not just us moving forward in time, but time also moving backwards on us. That's why there's no future or past. All that exists is the current present on a solid yet fluctuating substrate of space-time.
That's how I trick Nikki into marrying me. There's no future, there's no past. There's only the now.
There's only the now. Kiss me.
There's only the now.
Yeah, that's... Nikki's a lucky lady, David. That's all I can say.
She's traveling this week. She did the 4 parks in Walt Disney World today. She did Epcot yesterday and had all of her fun, and she's getting on a cruise tomorrow. And then when she gets back from the cruise, she's going to Universal Studios for the new huge epic universe or whatever the thing is down there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Lucky. She's hardworking.
Yeah, that lady's got a hard life. I feel bad for her,
but
frankly,
yeah, she got lucky with me. We'll end it there.
I have no comment to that, but Nikki, if you're watching, you should be doing something significantly more fun right now. All right, next news item. This is a good one. Let me know when you can see the screen.
Now the news.
Now
I didn't get one ready this week.
The news. Oh, I actually had a really good one. I didn't write it up. Maybe I'll have one ready for next week. I got a really, really good one.
Good.
And actually today would have been a great day to use it too. Anyway, so welcome to Sam Altman's Orb Store. Have you heard about this, David?
No, I have not. This is very rarely do you come up with something that I've not been exposed to.
Yeah.
This one, I have no idea what it is.
Right. So Sam Altman.
What the freak is an orb? I mean, I know what an orb is, but in this context, what is it?
You're going to love this. So Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, they make ChatGPT, has identified a real, actual, legitimate problem in the world, which is identity theft. and
Really?
being able
Well,
to.
that should go down here. That should drop off, and the scam call should drop off. From now till whenever the war ends.
Nikki is watching. She says she's currently sitting in hotel working. Nikki, you should be doing something significantly more fun right now.
She's watching us. What could be more fulfilling and fun than that?
Well, she has to make sure you don't say anything too inappropriate.
No. I'm a pro at sticking my foot in my mouth. That's just how it works.
I get it. I totally understand. So Sam Altman, he's identified actually a real problem in the world, which is identity theft. How do people, especially with AI the way it is now, how do people actually prove who they are when they need to? So Sam Altman has developed these orbs that he thinks need to be universal. These things need to be ubiquitous everywhere at all times because they are basically really advanced, glorified retinal scanners.
Oh, it's biometrics.
It's biometrics.
Okay.
Right. So he wants these things everywhere. And he set up these orb stores in a few different locations where you can actually go in and have your retina scanned. And what this is going to do is it's going to save your retinal scan and all of your personal data in a central database. And hopefully...
Sam.
But it gets better. So hopefully we can all... get this be marked before we can do any business, buy or sell or trade anything, and have this mark upon us where we can actually be part of a centralized system. And there's no way that it can possibly backfire.
I can hear the Sunday crowd going absolutely knucking futs over this.
There's no way this can backfire, David.
No. Let's hey, you're already down to the not even the multiverse. What was the first one we started with?
The simulation theory.
The simulation theory. Let's take this a little further now. And so let's take this with the retinal scan and couple it with all of the leaked and stolen data from 23andMe for everybody's DNA. So we're going to be able to literally clone people. What was the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger that he was a clone?
Twins.
And that wasn't it. But how you pulled that out that fast was awesome, and that was a great movie, by the way. But yeah, this just there's nothing can go wrong with it.
And as we know, yes, people have hacked the Pentagon, but they could never hack the orb store.
The orb.
They never hacked the orb
that you're going to take home and plug into your USB-C port on your hacked network.
Yeah.
Because I mean the number of people, and I replace my router every so often, not because it's running slow or anything, just because I know that it's susceptible. It is my forward-facing device in the world that's on the public or the WAN IP. It's on the public or WAN IP addresses right there to it. So it's the most susceptible thing in my house. So every so often I just replace it. I mean, I do the firmware updates, I do all of that stuff, but no.
So David, I had an idea. I had an idea to solve that problem. That I do need to talk to my IP guy. I actually have a call scheduled with my IP guy tomorrow. And yeah, we can just use Sam Altman's orbs. I actually have a home device that I wanted to develop.
I'm not going to play with Sam Altman's orbs. That's not happening.
Sam Altman's orbs. Everybody needs Sam Altman's orbs. You just stare deeply into them, and they'll let you do anything. Moving on. The sixth day. I didn't see the sixth day. I was stuck on Twin.
So Elvis Felty pinged me. He said it was Total Recall. It's like there is some stuff in Total Recall. It's like that, but this is a specific movie that's completely based around the cloning, and that was the sixth day.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Colin Farrell actually, so I don't think that was going to work out. Total Recall.
Total Recall. Well, oh man, you're going to piss off a whole generation of people. Oh. It's like saying True Grit, and speaking of, I don't even remember who played in the new True Grit.
Oh, that was he was Tron, the guy in Tron.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, and the dude.
Yeah, the Big Lebowski. He was the Lebowski.
Yeah. He was Lebowski,
yeah.
And I can't remember his name, and I can't remember the guy who played in the Bourne.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, and then the guy out of the Bourne Identity, or the Bourne Identity series. It's Matt
Damon.
Matt Damon. My names, man. I don't know. I'm stroking out here with the brain. Just was like, no, what? You know what? You want names right now? I'm going to give you recipes for fish.
You need more whiskey. Also, a good fish dish sounds great right now.
I agree, but
Like a nice
maybe
deep fried
Scotch could
catfish.
actually make fish.
Wouldn't it deep
Nah,
like?
I
Yeah, I
want
love
some
a
like
catfish.
honey glazed salmon.
See, you got high class tastes. I need like a deep fried catfish and some crawdads. That's right. That sounds amazing right now. I'm in.
I am so far out on that. No. All right.
You don't know,
So
David.
that was the Calumet. That was the Calumet, the blend, the 15.8. Which
You
one do I
kill-
go to next?
You kill the bottle.
This. Yeah. This is a single barrel, the 1792.
I think that's where you want to go.
I'm always a big fan of single barrels. Always
Sounds
a big
pretty
fan.
good.
But the Willet, it's the Willet pot still. You know what? We'll go 1792.
You know what? You've had that Willet pot still for like 4 years. You
Well,
got to save it for something
this
special.
one's actually this one's actually about a month older than the pot still.
You went deep in the cabinet.
Well, I mean, these were ones that I had, I don't want to say sentimental attachment to, but these were ones that were in the back. And again, I've been trying to get rid of all the just random stored freaking bourbons. Because I'm not a bourbon collector, I'm a bourbon drinker. And
you know what? Your 4-year-old bottle that you're drinking right now would say otherwise.
that's why I'm drinking it now, so that it can go away. And I'd like to have that cabinet for something else, and just put a couple bottles of whiskey in there.
Fair enough.
And just keep the blackened cask strength, and my Blantons and the E.H. Taylor and my Weller, and those are enough for me.
Those are pretty good selections. You can't go wrong there.
I got the M72, which is the yellow. The M72 is the Metallica 72 Seasons limited edition bottle for the Blackened series.
Ooh.
It's got the yellow on it and everything. Now, there was an event here because Metallica came and played.
Okay.
I got to meet and just shoot the shit with Rob Dietrich. Rob Dietrich's the master distiller of Blackened. So
nice.
I got him to sign my M72 bottle.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's in there. That one will never get drank.
You know what you got to do? You got to get an empty box of Blackened cigars and have him sign the box. That'd be cool.
I almost had him do that, but he's not. I mean, I'd rather, that's a Drew estate, so that's going to be
fair enough.
Drew.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
If I ever get a chance, and I will, meet Drew, I've got so many boxes of Blackened laying around this house. I've got the white boxes for the S84s, and I've got the black boxes for the M81s. The humidor's right there. And I've got 2 boxes of Blackened cigars in there right now. So, yeah.
Jim says, all this electronic devices and tech scares me. I try to keep my info on my laptop and smartphone to a minimum. To easily steal what little info I have, I'll stick to the old way.
So here's something I share. Jim, you may hate me for this, actually, because it's gonna kind of poke holes in that. It doesn't matter whether you keep it off of there or not. Your data's out there.
It's everywhere right now. There's
everything that you have, your bank records, your Social Security numbers, all of that stuff is, even if you're not using this technology, all these people you do business with, including the banks and mortgages and all of those people are.
Yeah.
And all of your data is just already out there.
Right. And it is, there are really, really, really good algorithms and people whose only purpose in life is to tie all of this disparate information and data back to you, back to an individual. And even if it doesn't have your name attached to it, these systems know you so well, they can attribute all your data back to you without even knowing it's actually you. And I know this firsthand because I've done it. And I've worked with companies that did it. Data attribution is big, big business. And if anybody wants to hire me to do data attribution for their giant company and pay me absurd amounts of money, I will happily do so because I have no morals when it comes to data.
You will do it, but you will not happily do so.
Oh, I'll do it. I won't be happy about it.
If you had to go back to corporate life in big corporate world, you would be pissed.
You're right. You're right. I'm building a corporate life. I don't actually want to go back to somebody else's corporate life.
Yeah. So I just took my first drink at 1792, and this is the single barrel. And here's a recommendation for everybody watching: if you have a choice between small batch or single barrel every day.
That's where it is. Right.
And you can protect your single barrel with Sam Altman's Orb.
Yeah, you can juggle them in your hands. It's nice. Let's get one of these.
Oh, the processing was delayed on that just a bit. But yeah, I got there.
Sam Altman's
Got there.
orbs. Bill, thank you. All right, here's the next
Oh,
one.
the thing just caught up, and I just got to see your hand motion.
Yeah, David's on a delay.
I have a good stuff. We're
All
good.
right, next piece of news. You're gonna like this one, David. World's first computer. World's first computer that combines brain cells with silicon, now available for consumer purchase. You can actually buy computers that are running on processors that contain human brain cells. This is commercially viable,
Okay.
and it's out there now. I think we should. I think the Underdog Journey should invest in some brain computers, just to see if we can piss it off. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool.
I mean, do we really want this? I mean, we're temperamental assholes. I mean, to be frank about it.
Right. Well,
Do you want your computer
yeah.
just one day say, screw it, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Like, do this math. Fuck you, go do it yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
Well,
I mean, do we really need this in our lives?
right. That's funny. So, do you remember a few, maybe a couple months ago now? We were talking about the that one platform where you can actually go on and see live feeds of the data of these computer chips that had human brain cells in them. And then a couple weeks after that, we found another news article that talked about these types of computers. They're called organoids. That if they're not used on a regular basis, they literally will get lazy. Like the more you use them, the smarter they get and the faster they get. But the less you use them, the lazier they get, and because they become less efficient. Do you remember that? This is a real, like you're joking, but it's actually a real thing, David.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like me and exercising. I've become much less efficient.
Let's see. Jim says,
but my thinking is right on point. So
it is.
I use that thing.
You're ahead of your time. It's actually a real thing. Jim says, question: can these be programmed so people can drive, please? That would be nice. That would be nice. Because
we
people
live
are
up here in
terrible
Central
drivers.
New York, and I gotta tell you, it's not good.
So it's bad everywhere, is what you're saying. Not just where you are, but like where Jim is, where I am. It's all bad.
Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad.
But this is a real thing. So another thing, David, do you remember we had that news article about that battlefield robot that could actually eat biological material to power itself to move forward?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I
then,
remember that.
Then last week or the week before, there was that scientific paper about that robot, the biological robot, where you'd actually have to feed it, and it had cloned muscle material so it could move. And now think, if you have a biological processor computer powering cloned biological muscles, which you actually have to feed biological material for it to power itself, you literally just created a biological entity, a biological artificial life form. Now, artificial is the key part. But again, you put an AI in there and you program the AI to think it's real. David, it's another level of the simulation. It's happening.
Oh man.
I'm just saying.
Next week, on next week's show, Wes shows off his absolute stunning collection of tinfoil hats.
See, this is why I don't do drugs. Imagine all of this crazy on drugs. It would be bad.
Oh man, I that's what got me laughing was I could just imagine you going. You just be the guy in the things. It's like, man, it's all a simulation, dude.
Dude, honestly, all we are is meat computers powering a bone mech suit covered in meat armor. That's all the human being is. It's a real thing, man. Like, that's why I can't. That's why I couldn't do drugs. But this it's a real thing. Tell me you couldn't combine all these technologies to create a biological artificial life form.
So the good news is, if this is the truth, then we should never lose another human in a war. Although, I mean, war is stupid to begin with, so I mean, we shouldn't anyway. But you know,
yeah,
Yeah.
You know what?
Anyway,
I have no commentary because right now in the world is a terrible time to be making jokes about war. Uh,
my joke is it's all stupid. It's not a joke. It's just all stupid.
no, and you know what you said was correct. Anything that I could possibly say would be wholly inappropriate right now, so I'm not going to go
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. There's a lot of very comical things we can say, but nothing
Oh,
that's appropriate.
there's some funny things we can say, not publicly.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
So, do you ever? I mean, I do this because I'm the meme sharing master, right? And a lot of people are like,
You
Dave,
do
what do
like
you do? I'm like,
a
I
good
share
meme.
memes. That's really what my day job is. I'm a day trader in memes. Um, I come across some of them that I think are absolutely freaking hilarious, but you got to have a sense of humor about it, right? And my sense of humor is you have to be able to laugh
Oh yeah.
at whatever it is that you hold most cherished, most valued, and what you care about most in the world. You have to be able to absolutely ridicule it hilariously.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And when you reach that level of wonderment and you've reached your inner wall, then you can be on my level, and I might be able to send you some of these. But I get some of these things come up, and I'm going, man, this is gold. I don't
Right.
have anybody I can send this to.
Oh, you can send
I
it to
can't
me.
let anybody know that my sense of humor is this absolutely on point.
All right, David, is that a challenge?
Oh, yeah, there's no, it's impossible to offend me. It doesn't work. So if you guys want to try to send me something that you think is offensive, go for it.
All right, this is a challenge to the internet, the entire world. Send David your most inappropriate jokes and memes, and we're going to see where his line is. We're going to see where his line is.
And for hot women's, just send me your best nudes.
That's you know your
And
wife is
see if
still watching. I
and
think your wife
see
is
if
still
I
watching.
can get offended. And also, let's see if Nikki's still watching.
Exactly. By the way, Jim says extra fries, Dave. Extra fries. I don't get the reference.
That's I guess that's why I'm fat. Is the extra fries? Okay.
Ouch. Ouch. All right. I'm offended, Jim. I'm offended by that.
I'm not. He's not very far from the truth. Let's be honest.
All right. Next piece of news, and most of this page is an ad. Thank you, Biz Journal, jerk.
Yeah, Biz Journal historically is it's almost as bad as the Weather Channel.
Well, look at this. So it's this giant space that's dedicated for this tiny little Walmart banner. There's no excuse for that, Biz Journal. Get your shit together. All right, here's the next piece of news. This is a good one. This is actually relevant to me, which is why I put it in there. SBA rolls out a grant program focused on American manufacturing. So
we need to go back and revisit, because this is some of the things we did early in our show series. 252 now, something like that.
Yeah,
in our 252 episodes.
Yeah,
253 episodes now. That we'd actually went over some of the SBA stuff and how they can, help you out and get funding and grants and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So with a lot of the inner workings of this particular grant program, it does need to be manufactured in America, but there's some other requirements.
I'm so sorry because of the delay. I got you drinking your water bottle, right?
Yeah.
But you kept talking. I'm like, how the frig is he do? Oh, it's a delay.
I'm one of those ventriloquists where I can drink water and talk at the same time.
He's really taking this ventriloquism class seriously, man.
You should see me with the little puppets. It's amazing. I'm like the new Jeff Dunham because he's hilarious.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So there are some other requirements. So my business doesn't quite meet the requirements yet, but as soon as we start having mass production and actually having retail sales, we will fully qualify for this, and I absolutely plan on taking advantage of this. This is something that's rolling out specifically in response to the new tariffs. Because look, say what you want about the tariffs, opinions over here, opinions over there, but one of the goals is to bring manufacturing and product development and production back in the United States, back where it can be controlled within the U.S. And this is one of the things they're doing to bring people into the fold and say, hey, make it here. We'll give you some opportunities to be more profitable. So I'm going to take advantage of this. I think it's a pretty good idea.
You should. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next piece of news.
You can also look through the IRS. There are sometimes, when I say sometimes, often things. Actually, you need to talk to Chuck.
Chuck Hoffner?
Yeah, we probably should have taken this offline, but it hit my head right now that what you're doing would actually classify for some tax incentives. But go ahead. We'll
Okay.
talk another time.
We will talk another time.
Yeah.
This is from
Not
Forbes.
while we're live on the internet.
This is from Forbes. It's time to get concerned as more companies replace workers with AI. This is a real thing. I don't think it's time to get concerned.
Wait a minute. This is from the same people that was like, your job's being taken over by equipment and machinery and technology. Go learn a new trade. So here's my advice to all the graphic designers and everything: go learn a new trade.
That's very true. Look, the days of call centers all being human, it's never going to happen again. The days of graphic design being human created, never going to happen again. The days of reading a single blog anywhere in the entire internet, except for mine, being written by a human, thing of the past. Never going to see it again. It's not going to take real jobs. It's going to aid in humans doing the real important work. But there are certain things that people just aren't going to do anymore. In the same way that when the computer, the word processor came out, we didn't need a whole, secretary pool typing away. There were other things for those people to do. Same thing here. I don't think we need to be concerned. I think it's just a matter of, you know what, maybe it's time to level up and do something else.
Yeah. So our good friend Dan McDonald today said, my phone did an update today just to install their AI platform.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So what kind of phone you got, Dan? I'm curious.
Me too, because I didn't get any updates today, but I try to neuter that stuff as much as possible. And for the love of God, this is for every big business, small business, mid-sized business out there. Do not add AI to your call prompts.
Too late. It's everywhere.
They
It's
are
everywhere.
trash.
And they're terrible.
All you're doing is you're pissing off your customers before they finally get to talk to a human, because your computer can't take care of anything. If I'm calling, that means your computer can't handle it.
Exactly.
Okay? So delete the whole thing, put Sally or Kenny up there at the thing. Thanks for calling XYZ. How can I direct your call?
Uh-oh, we got David talking about
thing,
customer service.
They're going to send it over to it, and I'm going to be taken care of. I do not want to, I get so, and I apologize. Like, I apologize to you right now before we get started. Your all's call tree is so maddening. I called in with a minor inconvenience. Now I'm absolutely livid. Customer service. Do it right or get out of business.
We got David ranting about customer service. All right.
It really doesn't take that. It's not a shove. It's not a push. It's a gentle breeze on a Wednesday afternoon to get me to start ranting about customer service.
By the way, Dan says he has a Samsung. He didn't want the update. It's for he's talking about AI chatbots. So yeah, honestly, they're everywhere, and there's no getting away from them. And here's the weird thing: is some of the voice.
It's a glorified freaking Clippy from the freaking 90s and Windows.
But here's the thing: some of the voice simulation, it's so good. It sounds like you're talking to a person in some cases.
Within seconds, I can spot it. And there are some restaurants. That's it's a terrible, terrible word to say when I'm talking about fast food. I pull up and to like the little box out there, you talk at a McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever. And if it comes up, I'm like, yep, you're AI. I just drive off.
Oh, and
I'm not giving you my business. Bye.
Jim says, how do you shit it all off?
Well, interesting question. You're going to need to take some fiber for this.
And then he corrects himself, says, shut it off. And unfortunately, Jim...
we weren't letting that slide.
Yeah, we weren't going to let that slide. Dan says, AI is only good for these IG photos, that's it. Look, AI has its place. AI is a tool. It's a a or it's a screwdriver that needs to be used by a human properly. AI is a fantastic
calculator.
It's a fantastic research tool. I actually use it to correct my grammar in emails. And that's all I'm like, hey, can you correct this email for grammar? Don't change any of the information. Don't restructure. Just correct my grammar. And it does a great job. But at the same time, it's unfortunately it's ubiquitous in business. It's everywhere. So what I suggest is people just learn it. It's here. It's here to stay, whether we like it or not.
It's
You
a
got
good
to learn
tool.
it, and
It's a
then
very good tool.
and then use it
It
to
is
your
an excellent
advantage,
tool.
because
Yes.
it's a great advantage if you can use it properly. And good
Yes.
good thing for us, everybody watching and listening right now. Most people don't know how to use it because most people are too stupid to know how to use it. We can use it properly because we have working brain cells that aren't attached to silicone yet.
Yet. So
Jim says, I got sledgehammers. You're not wrong, Jim.
so Dan asks, is that Grammarly?
Is that
Grammarly is
Grammarly?
an AI, but that's specifically for a grammar. But you can
Grammarly
you
does
can pass
have.
it through ChatGPT, or what's the one that's built in Edge? Is it Edge that has it built in?
Well, Grammarly does actually have AI built into it now, by the way.
No, I'm saying what web browser? There's a browser that has it built in.
I think it's Edge, but I don't use Edge because
Edge.
Microsoft can suck it.
Yeah. Anytime I can give less money to a certain person is a better day in my life. I'm slightly regretting my choice of switching off from Mac and going over back to my Windows. But only for that reason. I actually do like the interface now.
Well,
Windows
so
10 or 11 or whatever the hell this is.
And it's not even Bill Gates though that I hate so much. I just hate that Microsoft can't do something right the first time and then leave well enough alone when shit already works. It works.
Yeah.
So here's the question,
well,
David. Who do you hate
not
more?
him. It's the people they bring in, and I could get fired right now if I actually told the truth. But
yeah, we're not going there. Let's not.
There's a specific group of people that you bring in that's at kind of this level that they focus on the wrong things, and everybody tries to justify their job, and
that's called efficiency over effectiveness, David.
Yes, it's efficiency over effectiveness, and they are just trash.
So let me ask you, David, who do you hate more?
Company in a heartbeat.
Who do you hate more, Apple or Microsoft?
MBAs.
Who do you hate more, Apple or Microsoft?
Oh, that's tough. You know
right?
what? I got it.
How is there not a legitimate third player in this? You got to go Microsoft? You hate Microsoft more?
I think I have to lean Microsoft. If I had to despise one more and said, hey, you have to pick a platform and you're sticking with that the rest of your life, give me Apple.
Oh,
give me Apple.
See, look, I'm the same way. If I'm choosing between two evils, I got to say Apple.
Yeah, give me Apple. I mean, I don't want their phone. They can keep that piece of crap. But
the iPhone's good. It's not great, but
you're
good.
right. The iPhone is good. If you're a grandma, if you don't actually have to conduct business on a daily basis on a very fast,
if you don't want the newest cutting edge features for at least 5 years after it's already come out someplace else.
Yeah, if you want to be 10 years. So there's a thing they're talking about. I see it on the commercials today, that they're like, use AI to remove this thing in the background here. Is some kid like showed his muscles and his grandma or whatever's in the background in a mirror, and they touch it and it erases it. Like, we had that on the very, very, very first Google Pixel phone.
Well, it's because after Steve Jobs died, Apple completely lost its balls and decided, we're not going to innovate anymore. We're going to wait until everything's been out there and proven, and eventually we'll add it.
Yeah, Apple needs to hire me to just run their innovation world and just get out of my way. I can bring it back to the top.
Well, that's why Apple
is struggling.
That's why Apple doesn't actually have its own AI right now. It doesn't. Have you used Siri? It's the worst thing ever. Siri is basically Clippy.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Well, to me, they're all Clippy. I mean, I like my ChatGPT, but I use ChatGPT basically for computation, especially with the Cosmo
Cosmogenesis.
Yeah. The black hole cosmogenesis theory, and because there's a lot of math in there that I can't do, but because I'm a visionary, an absolute visionary among his peers. Mainly because this has nothing to do with what my peers do. So I needed to do the math. I can't do that math. So I use it for what it is, and it is a glorified calculator to me.
And that's it. Look, it's a really good tool, and I don't think we should throw it out just because we hate the idea of it. I think it's a great tool. We just need to put it in its proper place. And eventually, when it takes over, we'll all know who was obeying the robot overlords from the beginning and who wasn't. So
So we'll, for all those people that are sitting there screaming now when they were just telling everybody else to, train for something else, we're going to give you a good old fashioned South Park. They took our
Sticker
job.
James. Well, also here's something else.
Back to
Look,
the pile.
let's see. Dave sounds like Seth Rollins. I'm a visionary. Uh, so here's something else, David. If it turns out that we are in fact all living in a simulation, we're all AI. You're AI. I'm AI.
Dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. We're basically ChatGPT. Just really shitty versions of it. All right, next.
Oh,
Last piece of news. Let's see what we got here.
last piece of news.
Last piece of the news.
So this is great. We get introductions and news, and we try to cram that into an hour. And we tell people all the time about how short form video is really leading the way.
We're
And
rebels.
if we do a show under 2 hours, it's a shock.
We're rebels, David. We're leading the cause. All right, so
and I am absolutely willing to get behind the golden EIB mic. So if somebody wants to pick me up for that, I'll take that on. I mean, I can absolutely talk for 3 hours Monday through Friday.
That's right. Come on, how are we not doing that job? We can. It takes us 3 hours to say hello, practically. So
yeah. You, me, Snurdly, we got this done.
We're like Ents who drink a lot of bourbon.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's a nerd reference. All right, so Anthropic CEO admits we have no idea how AI works. This lack of understanding is essentially unprecedented in the history of technology. So,
then.
Well, yes and no. It's very complicated if-then, but everything's if-then. I mean, the human brain works on if-then statements. So basically, all of the
I disagree. Okay.
Okay.
You're back to that fundamental part here.
David.
You could say, if this, then that.
Yeah.
The human has the ability to do completely the opposite. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do that. And then they can go, you know what? Screw it. I'm rolling the dice one more time. I feel lucky. The computer cannot do that.
Right. So you have not done your homework on the philosophical theory of determinism. So determinism tells us...
If I had to make the second bet today, determinism would have been exactly what I was going to claim that you were going to call out on that.
Determinism tells us...
We are nerds, dude. Jesus,
or we're just...
Joseph, are we nerds?
I didn't realize I was so predictable. That must be determinism at work. So, determinism tells us that no matter what, it's already determined. From the very beginning of God hitting his hammer, hitting his gavel, and the Big Bang taking place, and every atom, every subatomic particle moving out into the universe, everything affects something else to some degree. Even if it is something else happening over there.
Is the cosmogenesis of this version of this universe.
Right, okay.
If you want more details, go look up the Leffingwell cosmogenesis theory.
So every subatomic particle moving in some direction hits some other subatomic particle. Like a giant game of billiards, everything scatters and hits each other, and eventually something happened that caused this to happen, that caused that to happen, that caused a neuron to fire in your head, that caused you to do this thing. That's essentially determinism in a nutshell.
All because you stepped on a butterfly.
All because, yeah. So, but it's a real thing. Essentially, and to some degree, it's...
Now,
everything is if-then statements. Now, if we want to go back
if
to...
If that is it, yeah.
If we want to go back to this article, the CEO of Anthropic, a huge AI company, says... He's actually saying the quiet part out loud, and everybody who's deep, balls deep into AI, take that how you will.
That's a hell of a statement there.
They all know this simple fact: the deep learning of these big AI platforms is a black box. They understand the principles of how things happen within the algorithms. They don't fully understand how all of the different parts of the algorithms are working together to fully work the way that they are. There are theories, there are ideas, but they don't really know, and that's the super weird thing. I'm not even reading the comments at this point.
No. When he pushed up all the freaking laughy faces there after you said balls deep.
Dan, I'm just going back. Dan says I'm a robot. He says 1.9 hours of drinking, 120 minutes of video content. That's fair. I'll take that. Let's see. Zor human thought process. I don't know if that's
Zor
supposed
is
to mean.
XOR. That's a mathematical
Yeah.
statement in Boolean algebra.
There you go. I love Boolean. You drop a little cube in some hot water, makes nice soup. I meant 120 seconds. That's what she said. Balls deep in the AI.
So here's my takeaway. Give me any CEO, give me every CEO across the country that is at a large scale business. And every one of them, if pressed, would have to admit they have no idea how
No.
whatever XYZ business actually works.
That's not the CEO saying he doesn't understand how it works. That's saying humans don't fully understand how these black boxes of AI, these deep learning AI platforms work. We understand the principles. We understand, I mean, they programmed them, they built them. But a lot of these AI platforms have actually been built by other AI platforms. We're developing AIs to make other AIs better. And they're actually, one of the interesting things is they're finding computer ways of writing computer code and programming that humans have never devised before that are faster, more efficient, more effective. That's for you, David. To levels that, that hadn't even been considered before. And they're actually so advanced that human programmers can't wrap their heads around how this stuff works. And there's the idea in AI, at these big AI companies, of the golem. Not my precious the golem, but the idea of creating an artificial life form. Now again, it's a figure of speech. I'm not saying these things are alive, but the idea of the golem is creating an artificial life form that eventually takes on traits and identities and takes actions on its own accord. And in a way, they're seeing things happening in these AI platforms they don't understand or really know why it's doing or how it's even doing these things. So these are the programmers who say, we don't really 100% understand how this works, which is, it's kind of cool and it's a little concerning. And boy, I can come up with some really good conspiracy theories for this stuff. But it's neat. It's at least neat to see that AI CEOs are saying the quiet part out loud now. Dan McDonald says, balls deep in a black hole. Oh, by the way, your mom is watching. She says hello, guys.
Yeah. So, hey, Mom, what's up? She smokes a lot of marijuana nowadays, so I don't know. I don't know if she really knows what's going on.
Oh, I can talk to her.
A lie.
Look, if that's
absolutely
true,
a lie. I just want to see her panic for a moment.
I was going to say, if that's true, I can talk to her about some conspiracy theories. So that'll be fun.
I just want to see what she puts up there next after I call her out.
She's been doing a lot of meth lately. I don't know. I'm a little worried.
I don't know. It's a thing. I guess.
She shaved her head and she's calling herself Heisenberg. I don't know, man. It's
Heisenberg. She's uncertain about it, though.
But she wasn't quite sure.
Oh, my God. That's a joke that you have to be at a certain level to actually get. How many? Okay, I got a question. How many of you got that joke? Because it was good. It was a really good joke. How many of you guys actually got that joke?
Look, I got it. I saw Breaking Bad.
I want to gauge exactly how, dorkish we really are. like really how nerdy we are. Like the night of the Super Bowl, I came home and wrote a paper on black hole cosmogenesis.
He says, David,
because that's what you do, right? You go from the cigar lounge and drink. He says, David, all in caps.
Sorry, Mom.
I just ratted her out for smoking all the ganja. She's got dreadlocks now. She's got one of the little caps.
She's a big Bob Marley fan.
Big Bob Marley. He plays that one song.
She watches
reggae.
She watches Cool Runnings on a constant loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Half Baked. She watches Half Baked. Half Baked's like Funyuns.
She's a big Jim Brewer fan. That's a fact.
Oh man, she's uncertain about it. That's freaking hilarious. Anyway.
We make ourselves laugh.
That was the news. I mean, that's the goal in life, man. That's what I tell people. It's like, you get offended. I find it hilarious. That's why I'm happier than you are.
Exactly. And
I mean, come on.
I tell my current wife that all the time. When I make jokes, it's not to make you laugh; it's to make me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's enough stuff out in the real world that makes me sad. I'm going to take the chance to make me laugh.
Exactly. She says, "You guys."
Use guys. Use guys. I could picture my mom talking like, "Oh shit, now I forgot. There it is again. I got another fish recipe ready to go, but a name,
You can't do the
Christopher
names.
Walken. Christopher Walken.
I want to hear your mom do a Christopher Walken
That would
impersonation.
be hilarious.
That'd be
To be
funny.
honest,
That'd be
I'm
good.
telling you, with her straight up West Virginian hillbilly accent. Oh yeah, that's money.
We got to find somebody who can do really good impersonations and say, "Can you do a hillbilly Christopher Walken?"
They're going to be like, "No, I quit." So he goes, "What happened to the past wife? Are you talking to West or me?"
That's. I
And here
mean,
we go again.
to be
We
fair,
both get quiet, waiting on the
we wait on
responses
Dan.
if they can.
Let's.
A,
He's
that
gonna
we're going to
respond.
hear them, and B, yeah,
If we wait
no.
long enough, we'll catch up to the delay.
Yeah, we wait long enough.
That's not how delayed. Anyway,
It's not how it works.
we don't talk about the past wife on this show, Dan.
West. Oh, it's all West. Okay, good.
That's all.
I'm off the hook.
Fair
I can
enough.
go back to drinking whiskey.
Yeah, Dan, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. So let's move on to the main topic. So David, I found this and I thought about.
I loved your agenda for today. It was
just a link,
a headline, one paragraph, and I'm like, no bullet points, no subcategories, no links to this. So I was like, oh yeah,
it's literally just a link to this article. So
well, actually, there was a link.
There was a link. Come on, David. It's like you didn't even read the agenda.
Like I didn't even read the agenda. I see the agenda. I know what it's about.
So this is from entrepreneur.com. And this actually goes back to some things we've talked about with our other pipe dream projects that we've thought of over the years.
We got to give credit to George W. Bush right now. George W.
Old George GW.
GW.
Oh, GW.
That's the problem with the French is they have no word for entrepreneur.
I know. We still got to make that a new T-shirt. That's a good one.
Oh man, that's great. I love George W. Only because he's excellent for absolutely making fun of.
So, how entrepreneurs can tap into what really drives the ultra wealthy and build a brand they can't resist. So basically, what this does is it breaks down the psychology of how to sell to people who make really high purchases, and this mentions up to like 7-figure purchases. But the thing is no matter what your business is, no matter what your service is, David and I always say, if you're in doubt, raise your prices. And you really need to. And if you raise your prices high enough, guess what? You can get a high enough clientele. But part of that is you need to know how to appeal to those people as well. Because
let's see.
Because you know what? The multimillionaire, the billionaire out there, the guy in the really wealthy neighborhood driving the super nice car, yeah, he's just a dude. Yeah, he's just a person. Yeah, just call me Steve. He's one of those kind of guys. But at the same time, he's not gonna appeal to the same marketing tactics that Joe Blow down the street will. He's not going to see the same type of ad or hear the same type of message and have the same reaction that Jim Bob, who
we do.
Then we do. Thank you. I was trying to think of a nice way to put that. I'm not being elitist.
I just called it out.
I'm not being elitist, but it's true. The same way we talk about your messaging, your brand voice, you're not going to speak to your grandmother the same way that you're going to speak to a frat boy. Guess what? You're not going to speak to a multimillionaire the same way that you're going to speak to a minimum wage guy who's living paycheck to paycheck. Two different, very different conversations, very different tones of voice. Yeah, they're both just dudes, and they could both hypothetically sit down and have a beer together and get along just fine, but they're not going to appeal to the same marketing tactics in the same way. So this kind of breaks down the psychology of those two very different demographics. What do you think, David? You look skeptical. The look on your face seems skeptical.
No. I love it because I have done a lot of work with the people that most would call the ultra wealthy, and I remember rushing from one meeting with
Hmm.
a pretty well world renowned billionaire uh group, didn't get to meet with the billionaire himself, to another multi-billionaire uh you know group. And so I mean, I know the difference. I've been there. So when you pulled this up today, when you sent this over to me as the agenda, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to read 3 sentences into this. I got this, because you know what, I've already done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Totally.
I didn't go to the website specifically because I want to see how I judge their tactics versus mine. Now, my tactic for, let's say, is here. Let's see. Let's tag on to something that you said. Piggybacking on what you said, West, in case you're missing the corporate world, uh, where you were talking like, hey, you're going to talk to your grandma all different than a frat boy. You're going to talk to a frat boy than you do a multimillionaire or a billionaire, right? I'm also going to have a different tactic, a different way to sell and present based upon what it is I'm selling. Am I selling them luxury drapes for their windows and window coverings and dressings, or am I selling them marble for their floors? The tactics are going to be very, very different. Actually, those are a little more similar than I wanted them to be. Um, let's see, cars. I have a car here versus a curtain. Okay, so the message of what you're selling and who you're selling it to are going to be different. And the saying that we always have, and it's again to circle back, drink, on what you said earlier. Whenever you're in doubt and you think you need to lower your price, raise it by 10 to 20%.
That's it.
That's actually where you need to start.
That's absolutely true.
Anytime you think if you're going to compete on value brand, you're not going to make it. Don't be a value brand.
A race to the
You
bottom.
cannot beat Amazon. You cannot beat Walmart.
You never will.
Cannot beat people giving stuff away. And just as Wes getting ready to say, I'm gonna let him finish.
In a race to the bottom, everybody loses.
Everybody loses, and the biggest loser is going to be you.
Absolutely.
So let's dig into this and let's see how I score this.
Yeah, and so later down in the article, it actually mentions some things that you and I have directly talked about with some of our other projects. So this is going to be good. Let's start with a couple of if I could speak, a couple of key takeaways in this article. The first is ultra wealthy consumers don't just buy high-end items for their utility; they buy them to validate their identity, success, and belonging in exclusive circles. That idea of exclusivity makes a big, big deal. Now, look, there are certain high-level people who don't give a shit. They'll walk around in torn-up blue jeans and a polo that has a big mustard stain down the front. But at the same time, they're going to drive that Ferrari. They're going to drive that nice car. They're going to live in that nice house. They're going to have the best technology. So we can't write it all off as like some rich guys. That doesn't apply to most rich guys. They're just regular guys.
Yeah. And don't forget the splash buyers from this. That meaning, and I literally just made that buzz term up.
Splash buyers.
The splash buyers,
okay,
is from the ripples you make selling to these ultra wealthy people that are, let me rephrase that, to the wealthy people that look for these exclusive signals that they are successful and to help validate their identities. You are going to have splash buyers that say, hey, look, this person bought this, and they will stretch to make that purchase. I love that. I just coined that right there. I want a nickel every time anybody says it. Splash buyer.
And that's a real thing. You do have the people who want to be part of that exclusive circle, so they're going to go out of their way.
Make it happen.
Yeah, they're going to go out of their way to get that thing that's going to make them feel exclusive. And that's why, and some brands manage this really well. Some brands actually deliberately price themselves to the point to where, yeah, you can fake it. You can kind of get our stuff if you fake it, but you're going to pay out the ass to do so.
You mentioned Ferrari. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of homework before next week.
Okay.
Actually, both of us have to do homework because we have to
We
find
have a
a
lot of work to do,
platform.
by the way. Yeah.
We gotta find a new platform. But there is a story of a gentleman who he wanted to be successful. He wanted to make it. He was doing real estate and a couple of other jobs. He was, working his ass off to make this happen. And he decided that his best move while he was struggling almost paycheck to paycheck was to buy a Ferrari.
Hmm.
His best move was for him to purchase a Ferrari.
Okay.
Now that doesn't sound like a good, hey, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I'm barely making ends meet here. He bought the Ferrari.
Hmm.
He got to the point he bought the Ferrari. And because of that, people identified him as
Right.
being successful, and it
Yeah.
brought him business. And it was a very short turnaround time from that purchase. Now, this is not, hey, I'm working at the local bakery. I'm gonna go buy a Ferrari and I'm gonna own the market. That's not how that works. But for the stuff that he was in, it opened the doors. He was part of groups and other
Right.
things because of the Ferrari.
Oh, 100%.
And that really pushed him forward. And that is that stretch buyer, the
Hmm.
splash sale. I like that now. Uh, and
Well, we're going to use
I
that.
will
I like
take,
that.
yes, and we will be required because it's a business buzzword that really doesn't mean crap. We will be required to take a drink every time anybody says it. Um, so that's the kind of thing that it is, but there is actual value
Oh, yeah.
there, and it's proven value. There is stories to show you
Oh, yeah.
that being part of that, I hate to use this word, click,
Hmm.
does open doors and does open business opportunities. You know what I use to do that?
What's that?
What do you think that I use the most right now for those opening of doors and getting into places that I just typically wouldn't, that normally I wouldn't have access to?
Sure.
What do you,
Well,
what do you think it is?
I mean, I think it's I'm going to go in a different direction than what you're thinking. I think what gets you to those doors is you lack that part of the functioning human brain that says don't do this thing, which plays into if you don't ask, you don't get. Now, I know that's not what you were thinking,
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking for that thing. So if I never smoked another cigar in my
but
life, I would be just
cigars
fine.
and bourbon do open doors.
Cigars, a lot of it. I get into a lot of places. I talk to a lot of people. I met the nephew of Dr. Martin Luther King smoking cigars and partied with him and ended up at a freaking karaoke bar. All right. So these are stories that you just can't get
Right.
from, setting it to Applebee's. Okay. You don't get them there.
So
So
but yeah,
it's
no. So your story about the guy with the Ferrari, though, it's really convergence of man. I hate to even talk about Venn diagrams these days because it's got a bad reputation now. But it's kind of the convergence of three circles of a Venn diagram. One
yes.
is the idea of an exclusive clique, being part of an exclusive clique, right? That's one part of the Venn
Yep.
diagram. That's one circle of the Venn diagram. The second circle of the Venn diagram is the idea of fake it till you make it. You need to put on an image. You need to do the things that successful people do. And other successful people, they'll be fooled for a period of time, but just long enough for you to get your foot in the door. That's the second one. Fake it till you make it.
That's all you need.
The third part of the Venn diagram this is a part of is dress for the job you want. If you put the image out there that this is who I am, this is the job that I'm going to get, and this is the job that I'm going to do, you're going to get the job. So you put those three things together, that's a winning combination for success. Now, look, you can't, as far as fake it till you make it, it doesn't last forever. You can fool some of the people some of the time. You can fool all the people some of the time. But you can't fool all the people all of the time. It's impossible. But you can fool all the people just long enough to get your foot in the door to really make a successful splash with those splash
So
sales.
so on that note, I sent you a video earlier today
That's
about a guy
right.
who
That's a good
faked it
point.
for 13 years
As a professional soccer player.
as a professional soccer
That's
player.
pretty funny.
Never kicked a ball, never played one game, never took one snap. I don't know. My daughter plays soccer and I literally left soccer practice a little ago, but I don't have a clue how they start the game. Is it a face off, a tip off? I don't have a clue what they call it. But it never actually kicked a ball. And the guy's story, which I want to dig into much more in detail.
That should be the
And when he was
next
finally
rest
caught,
of the story.
yeah, and when he's finally caught, he's like, whole all of world's marketing, and if you present and market yourself properly, it's going to open doors for you. So
Yeah,
that's it. And also missing that part of your brain where it says you shouldn't do this or you can't do this. It's very valuable. It's
it's
very
true.
valuable to not have that part.
It's true. You have gotten us. I know firsthand. You've gotten us into places that I thought was impossible, and it happened. So who am I to say?
Good time.
So that was only the first bullet point takeaway. The second one:
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, man, we really stretch out a point, don't we?
to attract affluent customers, it's important to cultivate authentic exclusivity, offer access, not just products, and integrate digital excellence with physical perfection. Again, just going back to the idea of exclusivity. You want to offer the idea of exclusivity. People pay premium prices for the idea that they're doing something other people can't do or be a part of. It's a real
Yeah,
thing.
there's a reason why. I mean, so there's I'm gonna rattle them off real quick here. We got Delta, we got Southwest, we've got American Airlines, we've got JetBlue, we've got Frontier, we've got I don't know whatever these other Swift or Spirit or something. Uh, all these other airlines, but we also have NetJets, and NetJets that's
It's a great
exclusive.
business model. It's a great business model. It's the
It's a great
idea
business
of
model.
exclusivity.
It's
Um,
very exclusive.
yeah. So, all right. So let's move into the article here.
Although they did, whoever does their marketing I mean, they probably got fired for it, but they did a lot of marketing on Facebook a couple of years ago. And I'm sitting here going, I actually put in the comments of a couple of them going, this is not your demographic, bud.
Right.
Like, I don't know what made you think that this is where you needed to be trying to market, but we're not your group, man. I'd
Right.
love it. And I've done a lot of stuff with NetJets, but I've never flown with them. I've been on the planes when they're on the ground,
Right.
but
Exactly.
I've never got to go up in one.
I've
So,
flown in private
dang.
jets a couple times. I got to tell you, it's really nice not walking into an airport and sitting with everybody else and waiting for the
Ralph.
boarding. It's really nice just literally pulling up to the near where the plane is, walking onto the tarmac, getting on the plane, uh, telling the pilot, "Hey, we're ready," and you just go. That's
Yeah.
really nice. I've
Yeah.
only done it a couple times, and I got to tell you,
In all
it
my life
spoils
and all
you.
that I've done, I've never got to do it. And I've done a ton of work for NetJets. I'd
Yeah,
love to have gotten the chance, but no.
David, we're gonna do it soon, man, and we're gonna make it happen.
Yes. We'll get there. We'll get the company jet.
All right. So most of the beginning of this article is first person experience of how this guy yada yada yada. So I'm just going to read the important stuff here. Let's see.
All right.
I've sat across from clients who've spent more on a single purchase than most people's annual salaries. When I ask them why, their answers reveal everything. First, because this reflects who I am. I don't think anybody actually said that. Because I've earned this. I believe people have said that. Because this represents my journey. Nobody's ever said that. Here's the truth. Luxury isn't about objects.
I don't know. I could see that. It represents my journey. All the stuff I did got me to here. I got that.
Maybe
Now,
if
the
they're
first
waxing
one, because it
philosophical,
reflects
maybe.
who I am. Yeah, the reflects who I am. That's absolutely bullshit.
Yeah, nobody ever said that.
The represents my journey, and I've earned that. So those two I can get behind. Those two I can
I believe.
resonate
I
with.
totally
That
believe.
first one, I'm kicking that guy in the orbs.
Yeah, if somebody did say because this reflects who I am, then you probably don't want to be speaking to that jerkhole anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Because I've
depends if
earned
you're
this.
getting money from him.
Because
Don't
I've
get mad, get money.
Yeah, because I've earned this. Yeah, people look. I can have that conversation. Yeah, you totally earned it. Tell me that how you earned it. Because this represents my journey. Maybe if they're waxing philosophical, perhaps.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm extremely philosophical.
here's
Yeah.
here's the truth. Luxury isn't about isn't about objects. It's about identity confirmation. So let's explore that. So this is a real thing.
Ooh, that's a dangerous selection of wording there, but okay.
It's a true thing though. So people make really huge purchases usually because they identify with let's dig into the psychology here. All right. The psychology driving seven-figure purchases. Beneath every significant luxury purchase lies a triad of psychological forces that most entrepreneurs, if I could speak, completely miss. The first is the scarcity principle. Desirability, this is a good one. Desirability increases in direct proportion to um, perceived exclusivity. When acquisition requires both means and access, the object transcends mere expense and becomes genuinely coveted. Scarcity, the idea of
Fabergé X.
exclusivity, yeah, the idea of exclusivity to a specific item makes it coveted. Prime, energy
What's the
drink,
what's the well? I was going to go. Is it
Pokemon
Vivaldi?
cards. Hmm?
Vivaldi violins?
Oh, Stradivarius. So
Stradivarius. So
I don't.
there's also the Vivaldi, but the
Right.
Stradivarius is the more
So
famous.
I
Yes.
don't buy into the. I think you're a little bit off with the with all three of yours actually. Fabergé eggs take an exceedingly amount of skill to create. Vivaldi, Stradivariuses uh, are exceeding. I mean, there's a lot of science why they're actually legitimately really good and exclusive. But look at things like Pokemon cards. They could pump out the rarest Pokemon card. They could make 10 billion of them tomorrow and sink the price into the ground. They don't because it's manufactured exclusivity to have only a
Yeah.
few out there in the wild, right? The same thing here.
The Black Lotus petal in Magic the Gathering, or not the Black Lotus petal, but the Black Lotus plant in Magic the Gathering, which gives you 3
There you go.
universal mana
There you go.
that doesn't cost any mana to play.
There you go.
So it's a very important card.
So Stradivarius, the violin, you can't make a billion of those. You just can't. The wood doesn't exist anymore. The artisans who created these things
You
don't
haven't
exist
seen
anymore.
my wood, son.
But at the same time,
Got in the garage.
these supercars that cost $1 million to buy, they could start mass manufacturing those in a heartbeat and sink the price into the ground. They could sell them for $20,000. They wouldn't be worth a thing. They'd be amazing and they'd drive incredibly well. But guess what? They wouldn't be worth anything. It's
Yeah.
manufactured exclusivity. That is the scarcity principle at work. So that's his first one. And honestly, that's a big part of it. If you can make your product limited, you can charge more for it. If you can convince somebody, and it goes back to the idea that something's only worth as much as somebody else is willing to pay for it. That's
Yep,
what
we've
it
said
is.
that for years.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The scarcity principle.
So I mean, how about this? The Leffingwell Heritage Series guitars. That
Yeah.
must be, I mean, that's worth $1 billion because there's not even a one of them that exists yet.
You got to get on that, David.
The pieces of them are in my garage.
You've got a busy summer ahead of you.
Well, if it ever gets freaking warm enough for me to actually work on wood here, no pun intended.
Well, your wife's out of town. You can work your wood all you want.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I think we're talking about two different things now. But yeah.
All right, number 2.
Man, we got there quick.
That's what she said. Number 2,
even better.
The identity.
Okay.
The identity
Number 2.
confirmation. The identity confirmation effect. It's a lot of words there. Affluent consumers don't acquire possessions to reinvent themselves. They select items that authenticate who they already believe themselves to be. The ideal luxury acquisition doesn't transfer identity, it crystallizes and validates it, right? So most people who have lots of money, they believe they already know who they are, right? They're not out to reinvent themselves. They're loaded. They don't need or want to reinvent themselves. They want things that reinforce who they already believe themselves to be. So the identity confirmation effect basically is taking that idea of exclusivity or high-end products and allows the customer, gives the customer permission to say, oh, this thing's ultra exclusive. This helps to reaffirm. It's basically just a level of mental masturbation for the customer. It lets them identify themselves with something that is exclusive. It says, oh, this thing's exclusive. I have it, therefore I am part of this exclusive clique. It's the idea of the guy who bought the Ferrari to be part of the exclusive clique.
Although it transcribed that, I just was wondering what would happen on Facebook. when you said that, but yeah, it transcribed that.
It's not wrong. It's crude, but it's not
Anyway,
wrong.
well, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's stroking the ego.
Yes, stroking the ego, and that's a real thing. So the identity confirmation effect is the idea that you're taking the exclusivity from the first point and allowing the customer, giving the customer permission to be a part of this exclusive clique, to own this item or be a part of this clique. Number 3 is the belonging distinction paradox. Again, a lot of unnecessary.
This is the Ferrari story.
This
This is the Ferrari story that I told
Yeah.
earlier.
You're right. So sophisticated customers negatively. Wait, hang on. I misread that. Sophisticated customers navigate seemingly contradictory desires, membership in exclusive circles, while maintaining individual distinctiveness within them. This elegant tension explains why personalization has become the cornerstone of contemporary luxury offerings. This is exactly what you mentioned with the Ferrari guy.
Yeah. Yeah, this really falls into that bucket. And I mean, to be honest, you can find this, and we're talking right now, we're talking of the ultra wealthy, and I'm going to step that down and just call it the wealthy, because I've done a lot of business with the actual ultra wealthy.
Yeah.
Their buying mentality is different than just the wealthy.
Right. I think
When you're
so.
talking about that real 1%, their purchases are based upon value
Right.
and adding to their portfolio and bringing them resale value and growth, return on investment.
Right.
There's a lot of thoughts on there. There's not a lot of the, hey, I need to define who I am.
It's not
You know
stroking your
what?
ego type
Yeah.
of purchases.
Yeah, it's not stroking it. But there is a group, there is a huge band that fits right in this category. That this is the best that most of us are going to be able to work with. This is absolutely the market that if we can get into, hell yeah,
That's
this
it.
is what's going to make it. You know, that distinction, that belonging is, again, we're not just going to get that one group. We're going to get the next group that's aspiring to be there. And that's, and, you know, I've said it before, and I think it's definitely worth mentioning again, because you're going to be able to do that. You can now take this and extrapolate it out to different segments of the socio-economical scale.
Sure.
And you can play into this group and pick up the top end of the next group. You can play here. Now, again, once you get down to the value group, walk away.
Right. Yeah.
That's
You never want to play in that neighborhood.
Your return on investment is going to be an inverted bell.
Right.
Don't do that.
That's it. So, but no, but you're totally right. I think this article was actually misnamed by talking about the ultra wealthy. I don't think the person who wrote this understands the difference between the wealthy and the ultra wealthy. Very, very different.
Yeah. Ultra wealthy is a different game.
But yeah, let's stick with just the wealthy, because again, if you can get in with that demographic as far as making your sales and becoming an exclusive, desired brand within that group, you're going to do well for yourself.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it's there. But again, I don't also want you to make sure that you understand that if you say, hey, I want the people that make $100,000 to $200,000, which it's actually a pretty broad range. And so you're going to target towards that group, and you may pick up the people you may pick up a splash sale. We got a drink in a minute. A splash sale from the people stretching that are at $80,000 to $100,000 of that, annual income.
Yeah. Well,
so you can apply these tactics almost identically through the groups. Now, the tactics, not the methods. The tactics, not the products. Because each group is going to be looking for something different. You can't sell a top of the line Rolex to the $100,000 group, because
Right.
guess what? That's going to be,
Multiple
the
years.
vast majority of their expendable income for 10
Right.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're also not going to sell a Timex to the people up here in the $1 million and up group.
Right. That's it.
It's not going to work.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's knowing who and how to position yourself. And you want to position yourself. Let's say you're bringing product XYZ to the market. You want to position yourself at the absolute highest rung on that ladder. It is much easier to work down than it is to work up. Always.
That's it. So, so that being said, here is the 3 types of luxury buyers you need to understand.
I love how West takes my ramblings and just like, yeah, that's right. And that being said, and then goes right into I love it. It's good. He's like, damn, Dave, that's a whole nother show in and of its own, but we're going to get back to our topic.
Well, we all go the little rants in different directions. So
it's to me, I just think it's important for people to understand that you should never be a value brand. And you should always be aiming at the absolute tip top, the absolute peak of what you're trying to do. If you're selling a Timex, you need to be selling Timex to the absolute peak of that market, of that demographic that's going to buy Timex. If you're going to, maybe the next step up is Citizen. I think that's a watch. Yeah, it is. You need to be selling at the absolute top of Citizen, because guess what? You're going to sell all of the Citizen market, and then you're going to get some people that reach from the Timex market up to grab the Citizen. All right. And the Omega, and so on and so forth, to Breitling, to, I think Breitling's like the top, but anyway, what's the one to C? Anyway, but yeah, it's it. And I want to make sure you understand that it's not just about, hey, only up here, my product is not going to be of an interest to XYZ billionaire. Putting yourself in this box, in this segment, and always reaching for the top of it is absolutely important. It's been one of the lessons we've talked about so many times over 253 episodes of this show that, we really need to drive it home. We really, every time we get a chance, work from the top down. A race to the bottom is, you just lose. You just lose.
Right, and totally.
All right, continue on. 3 types of luxury buyers that you must understand.
And that being said, so we are going to get into the 3 types of luxury buyers that you must understand. So the first is the classic connoisseur. Ooh, the classic connoisseur.
That's me.
You're a classic connoisseur. I get it.
I am absolutely the classic connoisseur. If I'm going to get into something, I go full tilt.
There you go.
I didn't say balls deep. I go full tilt. I get into it. I learn about it. I become very well versed in it, and I want the best of that. Period.
For these traditional luxury patrons, heritage isn't just a marketing angle. It's a primary currency. They don't simply acquire possessions, they curate legacies. There you go, David. These collectors gravitate towards established houses like houses, should have said brands. Established houses like Rolex and Hermes, where each stitch and mechanism carries weight of historical significance. So yeah, I think that applies to you. That's absolutely. and that's a big part of it, is people who understand the heritage and the history, and they appreciate the name and the brand, and they'll go that direction simply because it's established and it's understood. And people who are part of that world, especially people who aren't necessarily like Duck Dynasty new money, people who've been in this world for a while, maybe raised in this world, they understand this thing. So the classic connoisseur.
Breitling over Rolex, but yeah.
And people who I would say who are more cerebral, like David, I would never actually say that in a legitimate conversation. I'd never call him cerebral, but he is. Let's give him some credit. Understand the classic connoisseur state of mind.
Yes. Yes, I agree with whatever he said that made me sound like I was cool.
The next one is next-gen affluent. While their predecessors collected objects, these younger luxury consumers collect moments. For millennials and Gen Z, boy, I'm tired of these generational names. A brand's value, a brand's values have become as important as its craftsmanship. Anybody who buys based on a brand's values, not value, but values, you need to just give up and jump off a cliff. These expect digital. They expect digital fluency, sustainability, sustainability credentials, and narratives that align with their personal identities. And I would say Gen Z is not part of this. I think it's definitely millennials more than Gen Z. I think Gen Z is more pragmatic than that. But millennials absolutely buy based on a brand's values and sustainability credentials. There are other terms for that I won't use, but that's a big part of it. If that's the audience you want to hit, guess what? You're going to speak to these Gen Z affluent significantly different than you're going to speak to the classical connoisseur. Yeah. But these are people who
don't come at me. Don't come at me with marketing for a Gen Z or millennial. But these because it is not going to resonate with me at all.
And these are people who make big purchases. They just do. This is why.
Okay. So this is the stuff. Okay. So here we go. Let's put this in order. The stuff that the next gen affluent, Gen Z and millennials buy are the stuff that us classical connoisseurs go, what the F are they wasting their money on that?
Oh yeah.
That's garbage.
Absolutely.
Like you just bought a bitmap for $20 million that now it's gone.
Yeah, the NFTs. Remember when we were making fun of NFTs, and there were really big people with big money saying, "Oh, NFTs the future, the way of the future."
And we said the only actual value of NFT was
the digital contract.
Money laundering.
Oh, money laundering. Absolutely. money laundering. It was 100% money laundering.
It was absolutely money laundering.
Yeah.
And we were right.
I think there's still functionality there with the digital contract basis of Ethereum.
For the contract,
that's more Ethereum than
there. There's value
NFTs.
there, but nobody's using it. Actually, no. California is actually making a move towards automobile titles being based in NFTs. So
I honestly believe
value there that some people are using.
Yeah, I honestly believe. I think the in the near future are personal IDs. Maybe they're working on this with the orb.
The orb
with tying your identity to an NFT. Maybe that's a real thing. I think it's coming. But it's not going to be a piece of digital art of a monkey smoking a banana. It's not. You wasted millions of dollars. I'm sorry.
Yeah, until the Willow chip is released and some jackwing like me goes, "Hey, wipe out Bitcoin," and it just does it because it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And how do we know that it's going to happen? Because it was on The Simpsons.
Well, you're not wrong. They've predicted a lot of stuff. Number 3 is the self-made elite. Ooh, this is a good one. These first-generation wealth creators view luxury as both a reward and a reflection of their journey. Having built their fortunes through entrepreneurship or professional excellence, they seek brands that mirror their achievement narrative. For them, personalization isn't a premium feature, it's a baseline expectation.
I'm going to go with a blend of myself between classic connoisseur and self-made elite.
I think so. I think
I'm not even close to an elite, but yeah.
You know what you are, and you are, I would say, the definition of a self-made success story. I think that totally fits.
I'm a self-made moderate.
You know what? I would call you from the American dream standard. I would call you a success story. I would.
American.
You're pure American.
American.
But yeah, so this is another one, and all 3 of these you're gonna have to speak very differently to. But these are all identities. These are all personas, customer avatars that you're gonna have to consider.
I got a challenge for you.
What's that?
Give me one product and just one product that you believe you could pitch the same product, but it's a different pitch. It's 3 different elevators that you could pitch to all 3 of these elite markets.
I have 2 different products.
Ooh. See, that is why you and I get along. Like, give me one. I'm like, I got 2. Yes. All right, give them to me. What you got?
Cigars and bourbon.
That yes. It absolutely works across all board. In my head, I'm going, all right. And I processed a marketing campaign in that time. I processed a marketing
Yeah.
campaign for bourbon
Mhm.
across all three and cigars across all three.
That's it. Because you know what?
And there were a
Somebody,
couple failed ones in there too.
because you know what? The low key multimillionaire who's driving around in an old beat up pickup truck, wearing old torn up blue jeans and wearing his cowboy boots with his dog in the back of his truck, he's smoking a premium cigar. At the same time, you have the rich dicks of Instagram who are living on daddy's money, driving brand new whatever super elite supercar there is. Guess what? They're smoking the same premium cigar.
Yeah.
You don't even need a model
Yeah.
to sell it, David.
Yeah.
Call
Yeah,
back.
that would be, yeah. That means, I mean, to be fair, you went with two very
I mean, very
easy
obvious, right? Okay,
things that
right.
you can market to just about anybody but kids, cigars and bourbon.
Now, look. I mean, we could go through the different product types and demographic affinities for different types of product or desirable circles within those realms and break down the ultimate product that could potentially appeal to all three. That's a whole different
Mhm.
show. Um,
Yeah. So I'm looking at this and I'm going,
what would you have said?
these are verticals. These are verticals, and I could
See,
position
that's why
my
your sales on
bourbon.
marketing, you call them verticals, I call them customer avatars.
I'm looking at them as verticals. These are my three different verticals. These are the verticals I want to be in. This is, and how do I position myself in each of these verticals to be the brand or product of choice?
So,
And
what product would you
you
have
could do
said?
it. You could do it. I would have went cars
Maybe
and
Jaguar. I think could learn a lot from that.
yeah, Jaguar, you suck. Have you seen that they pulled back their whole marketing campaign
Oh,
and killed it?
I really
And
look. I
that
don't say this often.
now they're releasing stuff that's 3, 4, 5 years old
I
out
don't say
there.
this often. I genuinely hope heads rolled at that company.
Oh, there should have been a lot of people fired over that.
There should have been
There should have been tons of people fired over
teams,
that.
teams of people. They should have,
Teams,
like,
yes.
from the literal definition of decimate, they should have decimated that entire company.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it got to a point where I was like, you know what? They've devalued their brand enough that I might be able to do a
Oh yeah,
uh, PE or VC over here and raise capital to just make a flat out purchase.
they've devalued their brand enough. If they came out with the perfect campaign, with the perfect new car, with the perfect everything, it still would not be a
It'll fall flat on
fraction.
its face.
It would not be a fraction of what it potentially could have been.
Yeah.
That they are
Yeah.
the new Bud Light.
They are so much. So Bud Light is
I
kind
mean,
of
we're not getting political. It's just a fact.
it's just, yeah, it's just a fact. It literally is. It's not our opinion of what happened to be fact. It's a numbers
It's just a
fact.
numbers game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, and it's there. And Jaguar, come on, man, come on. I actually, I might take a look and see what the valuation is on it now. And I'm,
You gonna buy?
it's it's how, I mean,
I think if they took a rest for like a decade, they could make a comeback.
yeah, they would need to disappear off the
Or
globe,
no,
off
you know
the
what?
globe, continue low key, just sell what they have.
I think you had the right idea at the time. I don't think they need to disappear. I think they need to take all of their consumer level products off the market completely. Take all of that off the market completely. Focus,
Yep.
and you said this is your idea. Focus
Yeah.
solely on these ultra high end, ultra elite racing vehicles.
Yep.
Focus only
For
on
racing
that
teams,
for
yeah.
like a decade, for like 10 whole years minimum. And then when they've won back, they can get the nostalgia crowd on the back end.
Yeah.
You know what I
Go
mean?
get a couple of I almost said Tour de France's, but that's the weird people on bicycles. What's the one in Germany?
The Audubon?
Not the Audubon. Shit. The hell's the name of one of the viewers out there? What's the name of that racetrack over
Oh, I don't
in
know.
the Nürburgring? Go get you some good stuff at the Nürburgring. Go
In
get you the
Nuremberg?
what's that?
Like the trials?
Not the Nuremberg, the Nürburgring. There is a difference.
Nobody wants a car that went to Nuremberg, David.
No, the
That's
Nürburgring.
bad. That's not. No, I don't think you want that car. I mean, Rolls
No,
Royce
you
does make
do
a
want that car.
Rolls Royce does make a fine car. I'm just saying you
It's
don't
where
want.
every sports car is tested
Yeah,
in the world. In the world. That
Nuremberg.
is
I
where
think
they all are tried.
it's.
If you want a Porsche
There were some
911
trials at
GT3
Nuremberg.
RS,
Yeah,
if you want a Chevrolet Corvette, if you want any of these things, if you're a connoisseur,
kind
a
of sure.
classic connoisseur, you are going to know what the Nürburgring time is for your brand of car, period.
Right.
You're going to know it.
Yeah, and if you want the
You're going to
best,
do the research to know.
and if you want the best trials, you go to Nuremberg. I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm not sure I'm going to buy. Again, I love Rolls Royce. I love VW to a degree. I'm not sure I'm going to buy a car from Nuremberg.
Nuremberg, it's not even remotely close to Nuremberg.
Number 3. Here's
I
the
should
next
not
one.
raise my right hand and point off into the distance when I say
You,
that.
you start yelling and you do this. A lot of this. Don't yell and do this.
I was just pointing off into the distance, like it's over there, and the track is over here.
Okay.
And it's over there.
Okay,
and
Elon.
the track is over here, and it's over there.
Okay, Elon. Let's move on.
I went with Bernie.
There you go. 3 strategies that actually move the needle, and these are things that we've talked about in the past, David. Believe it or not. So number 1 is cultivate authentic exclusivity. How many times have we talked about? And you and I have had some ideas, and a couple of them I still really want to do eventually. Cultivate authentic exclusivity. Discerning customers detect manufactured scarcity, and I mentioned that earlier, with remarkable precision. With Hermes maintaining a waiting list of signatures.
Hermes.
I think they make suits. Waiting list of signature creations. They're not merely limiting distribution. They're creating an attainment journey that becomes integral to the acquisition's value. And that's part of it too. If you have a waiting list for your stuff, maybe they're a watch company. I don't know. I'm not rich enough to know.
Mother of pickles.
What does Hermes do?
Jesus, Marion Snaponovich. What the mother of pearl?
Now I got to do search. Hang on.
I did the search, and these like dead ugly ass sandals are like $1,100.
Hermes Mother's Day gifts.
Oh,
Let's see what we got here. Oh, so they make shoes and stuff. Fair enough. Tableware. They have tableware. They have fashion jewelry. They can make all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Men's shoes. Men don't wear those shoes, bud. Sorry about your luck.
I'm gonna go to
that
men.
guy right there on that little ladder. That is not a man.
Where are you at on the shoes? You on the shoes?
Yeah. If you scroll down where it says "Rise in Style," and atop the ladder of relaxation,
I'm gonna go to iconic models.
No. Yeah. Men don't wear those shoes.
I have the same pair of shoes. It's only $1,100.
$1,100.
I can buy some $800 flip flops.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
I have those same ones. I'm going to the beach.
There is a maximum value to me. There's just a maximum value. There's a reason I don't have a Rolex or a Breitling, is because to me there's a maximum value on a watch. Without exception, there is a maximum value on a watch.
All right.
Christmas.
So cultivate authentic exclusivity. So again, what this says is people can. So remember when I mentioned the artificial scarcity of like Pokemon cards or Prime energy drinks, where they only make 3 of them.
What we just illustrated is we are not their target.
We are not their target audience.
Good job, Hermes.
So authentic exclusivity. Guess what Hermes did? They raised their prices and they're ultra exclusive. They know who their customer is.
I got it right here. They brought us the message that we are not their target market.
Right.
Oh. I just like
You know what?
that.
They know who their customer is, and they know how to speak to them. And
And
what
they
this
know it's
says,
not us.
and what this says is also the idea of attaining these things is part of the journey and part of the actual enjoyment of being part of that exclusive
Yeah.
clique. So cultivating authentic exclusivity, not manufactured exclusivity, authentic exclusivity. So remember that. Number two of the three strategies of actually moving the needle. Number two, offer access, not merely products. Again, exclusivity. Consider the luxury paradox. What affluent individuals value most profoundly cannot be purchased.
That's correct. You can get a free ticket to the Fire Festival.
There you go. That's a good document.
Oh, that was
The Fire
good.
documentary on Netflix is actually really good. I've seen it a couple times now.
The dude is, I think the dude's out of prison now and doing another one called like Fire 2 or something. And he used the same name and I either he's just cashed in on marketing, or he's actually I don't know what the hell he's doing, but luckily for me, I'm not his target demographic. So,
By the way, your mom's going
you
to
know,
bed. She says good night.
oh,
But so the idea of
good night, old lady. She smoked the weed too much. She's got the munchies, and now she's heading to bed.
little Taco Bell in bedtime, I like it. I like it. So again,
Yep.
the luxury, I've never heard it called the luxury paradox before, but it's it's pretty profound. The affluent individuals value what they value most profoundly cannot be purchased. Being part of a certain clique, being part of owning something that is so exclusive, you got to be on a waiting list. David, here's a great example. Your wife goes to Disney all the time. Club 33. You can't buy your
Yeah.
way into Club 33. For the most part, you can't buy your way into Club 33. You can, but you can't. Like, if you want to wait 10 years, you can. But if you know somebody, if you're part of a clique, if you're part of that exclusive group, you can be part of that crowd.
Perhaps I could be part of that clique by explaining to them why he chose the number 33.
I'm not going there. I'm just saying. I mean, you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of having something so exclusive, so hard to get, so like other rich guys can't even get it. That adds a different level of exclusivity. And guess what? It doesn't matter how rich you are, if there's one thing all rich dudes love, is the ability to brag. Hey, guess what I have that you can't have? Everybody loves that. Rich or poor, everybody loves that. We just do. It's built into our DNA. So that was number two. Number three is let me get this stupid ad out of here. Ads are everywhere. Jeez Louise. Number three, integrate digital excellence with physical perfection. What does that even mean? The notion that digital
I'm gonna need you to explain that one.
The notion that digital presence dilutes luxury allure has been definitively retired. Come on, tell us something we need to know here. Today's elite consumers expect seamless integration between physical craftsmanship and digital excellence. What matters isn't the channel, but the consistency of excellence across every interaction. That's not a rich dude thing. That's just making sure things work cross-platform. I don't agree with this one. This is stupid. That's not exclusive. That's not a rich dude thing. That's just making sure your customer data travels well from platform to platform, from device to device. So that's a stupid one. This is probably written by AI after reading this part.
So no, the rest of it was written. It was written. It was all written by AI.
Oh, 100%.
But he corrected a lot of it, and then got to this point and was like, "Nah, it's probably good."
Yeah, it'll be fine. We're good.
Yeah.
Let's move on then. The future of luxury is evolving now. Let's dig in this very briefly.
Without looking at it because I can't see it, I would say that is absolutely true.
The future of luxury is evolving now. I mean, everything's evolving. Yeah. You and I are evolving. The algorithm that runs our universe is evolving, David. So you want to talk theology and the simulation theory? Boy, we can do a show on that. I've thought a lot about that.
Yes.
Again, why this is why I don't do drugs. Three significant transformations are redefining luxury landscape. First, the demographic composition of luxury consumers is evolving profoundly. Younger, affluent individuals approach luxury with fundamentally different priorities, valuing experience over possession. I don't agree with that necessarily. Purpose over prestige. I don't agree with that necessarily either. And authenticity over heritage. Man, I don't agree with any of these. It says younger affluent, maybe, but even younger affluent. Here's what this guy. You know what? I disagree with all this. I'll tell you why. The guy who wrote this, or at least the guy who curated AI to write this, doesn't understand the younger affluent crowd. Here's why he doesn't understand. He thinks the younger affluent crowd genuinely believes their rhetoric when they say, oh, I care about this principle and this environmental issue and this political issue. You know what? When it all comes down to it, they don't. They say they do, but when they reach that level of actual affluence, guess what? They're a Jeff. They're not Jeff. They're a Mark Zuckerberg. They're a
Jeff.
nouveau.
Jeff.
They're a nouveau riche, and they want to be part of the old money. They now want those ultra affluent things, these exclusive things, the leather and the nice cars and the this and the that are ultra exclusive, because they want to feel like old money, even though they know they're not. At that point, they'll still put on the show of caring about this and that political issue. They don't. They really don't, because they're that fickle. I don't mean to sound bitter, but when it comes to money, those principles fall by the wayside, and they want the exclusivity. They don't care about they will care more about the prestige than the authenticity. They will care more about the luxury than the political issue that it represents. Guaranteed, 100% every time. That's how I know this was not only written by AI, but the person who prompted AI to write this doesn't actually understand the young affluent.
Yeah. So we've got Dan here saying my luxury is evolving into Jamaica starting on Saturday.
Dan,
so
are you going to Jamaica?
Is headed off to Jamaica.
Oh, I love Jamaica. Jamaica's great.
I've never been. I'm not in a hurry to get there because they play that one song over and over. It's called reggae. And I don't know if you've ever heard reggae, but it's literally just one song.
It's all Bob Marley.
Song,
it's just yeah.
It's insane. I can't take it. Yeah.
It's all Bob Marley, but I like Bob Marley, so it kind of works. Hey, Dan, so here's my only piece of advice. Okay.
Drink the water.
Do not ever drink the water. Don't drink the water, and don't go behind barns with random people saying, hey, you American, come here. You into that? Don't do that. Don't go behind those barns. Also, but here's my actual piece of advice. Rent a car that has a driver. Don't drive yourself anywhere, because I've never feared for my life driving. So here, the only two times I've actually feared for my life while in a car. One, driving with David in Boston. Number two. I knew
I was going to make the list.
Number two, driving in Jamaica with a driver. If any American had been driving themselves, we'd be dead right now. I'm not even joking. The entire island, I only saw one traffic light.
That's crazy.
Only saw one traffic light and multiple goats on the road. That's not derogatory, it's a fact. Also, on Jamaica, there are tourist areas where they don't let tourists leave for their own safety. So, Dan, have fun. I love Jamaica. I hope you have lots of fun. I actually had a lot of fun there. I recommend it.
Stay to the population. Stay
in the touristy areas.
People look like you. You need to stick with those people.
I would not have worded it that way.
I'm going to word it that way.
I would not have.
I'm absolutely. If they look pasty white and they don't really belong there, those are your people.
Dan, all I got to say is have fun, man. It will be a fun trip.
But don't be stupid. And
don't. Like I said, don't.
Dan's about my size, so I mean,
don't go behind random barns with random dudes offering to smoke weed with you, it's not going to work out well.
I've never, yeah, that's not really a concern of mine. Uh, but people like Dan and I, we are not really the target of a lot of people because they take one look at us and go, no, no. Even if we get him down, he's going to hurt a lot of us and maybe take out one of us,
That's true.
maybe two.
That's true. I've met Dan. I can see
So
that.
yeah, let's not do this,
That's pretty
and
funny.
we'll let him go. And usually I come walking out with a bar owner or a pub, aka mobster or mafia person with me anyway, so it's fine.
I've seen this. I agree.
That's why you make friends with people when you're in places, man.
I got to work on that. I've been going the opposite direction on that. I got to work on that. All right. So second,
Well, you got to leave your house.
man, I hate that. All right. Here's the second. Geographic centers of luxury. Consumption continue to evolve. That was worded really weird. Second, geographic centers of luxury consumption. I wasn't putting the emphasis in the right syllable. Second, geographic centers of luxury consumption continue to evolve.
No, I absolutely disagree with this next sentence.
With Asian markets,
absolutely. This is the worst place to try to get into a luxury market is in Asian.
With Asian markets not merely expanding, but reimagining luxury through distinctive cultural lenses and purchasing patterns. This was totally written by AI. I would say that might not be a successful demographic for you unless you happen to be Asian yourself. If you are Asian yourself and you do have ins with those luxury worlds, by all means, go for it. If you are part of our demographic and you're just, as David said earlier, pasty and white, it's not going to work out well for you.
I would like to think that there is a generation in China that is just pissed with what they've become, right? It's just absolutely livid and wants to take their whole the culture back over instead of being a value cheap place for people to get shit done and return a level of honor back to what they are. I hope that's the case. And if that is the case, then this becomes much more true.
I agree with you, but then we get into the conversation of communism versus
living.
It's the government won't allow them to do that, but we don't get political on the show, so let's move on. Third,
if the descendants of Qin would just take back over, I'm sure we could reestablish the dynasty of the Chinese people.
Look, I think there is huge opportunity, but in order to do that, there need to be some significant changes, and that is a whole different show and a whole different genre of show.
We need the golden mics for that one. Yeah, and a paycheck from those people that are okay with us saying.
Yeah, if we had Rush Limbaugh's paycheck, I could totally go down that rabbit hole, but I'm not gonna. And I also kind of disagree with this third point. Third, women now influence the majority of luxury purchasing decisions, yet many brands continue designing experiences primarily with male consumers in mind. This misalignment creates.
My wife is the cheapest woman on the face of the freaking planet. You're not going to sell her luxury anything.
This misalignment creates a substantial opportunity for entrepreneurs willing to recalibrate their approach. Wow, this is written by AI who doesn't have any idea what's happening in the world. You know what? While I do think there is an ultra luxury, many ultra luxury opportunities for female-based brands, I don't think it's at all accurate to say that the majority of luxury purchase decisions are controlled by women. I don't think it's true at all.
How many rich dudes?
rich dudes
I'll
have
put
their
myself out
toy.
on a limb.
Rich dudes have their toy box, and rich dudes want their exclusivity. It's a rich dude thing. And guess what? Most rich dudes aren't asking their current wives, and they can actually say that, for permission to make that big decision. They're just not. I'm sorry. I don't
Okay.
know who that is rubbing the wrong way, but they're not asking their wives for permission before they spend, however many dollars on this big expensive thing. It's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in who owns the company. It is so far down my list of who owns the company that it's irrelevant. I care far more about, like, this person right here is talking about when Stella McCarthy pioneered ethical luxury. Skeptics questioned whether sustainability and premium position exist. Um, did they question her being female, or did they question a sustainability and premium? Because that's the way the statement reads. Is they
Right,
didn't
because you
question
can't
her,
really have
the
both.
female side of it, the sex side of it. They question the sustainability and premium positioning could exist.
Right,
And anybody with 35 seconds of marketing or sales background can go, yes,
right. That's it.
yes, we could exist. But it is all about positioning. And if your sustainability, if you are positioning if let's say you are a sustainable brand, it's knowing about not only how to position yourself, but who to position yourself to.
Well, right. Also, so to your point, I'm just going to boil it down and sort of, really just give the nuts and bolts of what you're saying. Is again, people weren't questioning her as a female. They
Yeah.
weren't saying that she is taking the lead role as a female, and they're questioning that. They're sort of questioning the sustainability and premium positioning, which you can absolutely do. In fact, I would say the more sustainable, in big quotes, the more sustainable something is, the more necessarily it has to be premium, because it costs significantly more to produce. Therefore, it's significantly more rare and exclusive. I think it can absolutely exist, sustainability and premium, almost by necessity, more than just a niche that you're getting yourself into. So I think it's a fallacy to think that these things are driven by females more than the idea that
You just had a
the
good
sustainability
marketing and
aspect.
sales department.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, come on, man. It's so I'll tell you this right now. If there was a sign that said, they put on the sticker on the wall that said male owned or man owned business, I wouldn't give those people my business. And anytime I walk up to a place that says woman owned business, I typically turn around and walk away.
Right, and you know why a man would never put man-owned business? Because men realize nobody gives a shit. In fact, you know what?
Yeah.
I might go in specifically just to see what their kind of shtick was, because chances are
Yeah.
the only man who would put that up would put it up ironically as a joke.
Yes. There might be a joke there, but it is, stop focusing on shit that doesn't freaking matter. This goes back into our, we struggle sometimes because it's not very hard to see which side we lie on. But if your job is not politics, if your business is not about politics, stay the hell out of politics.
That's it.
Don't give anything an edge. Don't give anything don't weight anything, and don't discount anything. At any one of those stages, you are walking away potential clients, potential customers. Don't do that. Just run programs. Just do business. And I hate it when I walk up and it says this owned, that owned, this owned, that. I don't care how good's your product. Now, if I know the product's good, I've had it multiple times. I walk up and I see a thing. Do you know what I think? Man, it sucks. I'm gonna have to stop giving this people my money.
Yeah,
Because I don't want to reward that kind of behavior.
right.
Stand behind your product. Stand behind your customer fucking service. And that's all you need. You don't need any of these other things. That's not what's generating your revenue.
Right. Absolutely.
What's generating your revenue is your idea, is your passion for the business, is your customer service. Those are what's generating your revenue. And that needs to be where it's left.
That's
Be
it.
done.
That's it. So I think the most important thing out of this article is the idea of understanding the demographics of who you're speaking to. And
Jesus Christ. We haven't preached about that for almost 5 years.
but it's true though.
Oh,
So we always harp on about the customer avatar,
the
and
customer avatar, man.
really the only valid thing in this whole article is, I think it's very important, is understanding your customer avatar, understanding your target audience, understanding who you're speaking to and how to speak to them. And understand how to speak to them is also understanding their desires, their needs.
Yeah.
And we talk about this every single time. If
That's
not,
the
we've been
customer
missing out.
avatar.
Understanding what problem you're solving for that customer. For this customer, for the ultra wealthy, or just the wealthy, as some of us would say, you're solving the problem of they desire to be a part of an exclusive clique. They have that need for validation in their own lives. In some cases, some do, some don't. But again, those are two different demographics within this. But the three, I think these are actually three really good ones: the classic connoisseur, the next gen affluent, if I could speak, and the self-made elite. If you can speak to each one of those, man, you're off to the races. And if you can provide exclusivity in your product or service that can appeal to one, if not all three of these, you're gold. You're gold. Because these also are people with disposable incomes. These are people who aren't going to mind. They actually want to spend slightly more on something, because these are people who understand you get what you pay for.
Yeah, I hate spending money. My wife is actually laughing right now. I hate spending money, but when I have to,
Yeah,
I would much rather spend more money
right.
and have XYZ problem just handled.
That's it. How many
Done.
times do you and I say it should just work? Something should just work. Why can't shit just work?
Exactly. Why can't shit just work? Microsoft.
You get what you pay for.
Sorry.
And that comes along with this idea of being premium. It's premium because, one, it's exclusive, and two, it just does what it's supposed to do. And I don't have to harp on about it. I would rather pay 2 or 3 times the price if I don't have to think about it. I can just put it there and it does what it's supposed to do. And guess what? If it's premium and exclusive, and I can go and brag about this thing that other people don't have, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah. So this goes back to, and we've gotten worse with this over the years, because we got the same group of people to come in and say, let's be more efficient, more efficient, more efficient. Those are also the people that are more likely to release a product with minimum value.
Mm-hmm.
So MV or MVI, or minimum value introduction. So it's the minimum value at introduction. What can we start selling? And 90% of the product doesn't function.
Right. Exactly.
And they think for some reason that this is a good plan. And it's just shit.
Right.
To paint it with a broad brush, it's garbage. It's a terrible idea. It's not understanding your market. It's not understanding who your customer avatars are. Gee, Christmas, we haven't launched into a customer avatar rant in a long time. It's
almost been a whole week.
Odd for us.
What's going on?
Yeah, because it's so important. It's so important to know who you're speaking to, because if you don't know who you're speaking to, you have no clue how to speak to that person.
Right.
If you don't know that you're trying to reach and connect and resonate with a classic connoisseur named David, and he is XYZ and all these other metrics that you filled out for David, your customer avatar.
Yeah.
You have no idea how to speak and how to resonate with that customer to encourage him for purchase. Because guess what? That's your goal. And he's the one bringing the money to the table.
And if you
what does Jenny think about this?
That's it. And Jenny is just a nickname for a customer avatar. So David, you and I have sort of talked about this in a roundabout way. I've mentioned to you that I want to go to certain events. I want to go to certain groups and meetings of different types of people in different areas of certain industries. And I've mentioned to you, I want to be part of that world. I just want to be part of the conversation. Even if I'm just a fly on the
Yeah.
wall, I
Every
want to be
time he
there.
says that, I think of Little Mermaid. He wants to be part of
Right.
my world.
But I mentioned that specifically for what you just said, because I understand my product that I'm going to put out. I understand I understand who the demographic is, but I might not know all their language. I might not know their lingo, how they speak to each other, the ins and outs of that world. And by being part of those conversations, being part of those events, I can actually learn the language, and I
Hmm.
can actually learn how to speak to those different demographics, to those different people. It's actually my own education that I can put into my own branding and messaging, so I can actually not only be a part of the world from like they know me and I know them, but I can actually speak the same language, because that's a big part of it
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Understanding
absolutely.
how to speak to your grandma versus the frat boy. Very different languages.
Yeah, I have people that I work with that bring me in, even not even even outside of my current role,
Mm-hmm.
that bring me in on certain things, and they go, David, I need you in here because you actually know how to talk to this group.
Right. That's it.
You know how to connect. You know exactly what they're going through, and they bring me in, and lo and behold, all of a sudden, the whole dynamic
Mm-hmm.
of the encounter changes because now they've got a person who, when they're saying things, I actually know what they mean.
Right. That's it.
I know what they mean. I know what they're going through. I know what they feel. And what's most important is I know what their next step is.
That's it.
So while they're explaining this, I'm working out their next step, 2 steps, 3 steps. And at the end of it, it's no questions asked. We're done.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's the sell is made. It's done. It's closed. And it's I can't believe we went through all this just to come back to, do your freaking customer avatars, people.
It all boils down to that. That's what it
It
all
really does.
is.
You need to know who you're freaking speaking to.
That's what it all is. It all boils
It
down to
is.
that. So
It's so important. So important.
yeah. So again, the ultra rich, or Jim Bob driving his pickup truck. Understand your customer avatar, and
Yes.
really, honestly, and as David said multiple times, and I totally agree. When in doubt, raise your price. Sales are suffering.
Yeah.
Guess what? Raise your price.
Raise your price. Raise your price. Make sure your customer service is up to snuff.
So I shouldn't use AI for my customer service, David.
Absolutely not. If you have an automated call prompt, if you have an automated tree, the very first thing you could do is I used to do this. I actually used to do this. I had a central station that's for communications for security systems, fire alarm systems, and whatnot. And I worked in fire in the life safety world. And they didn't have an automated tree prompt. All the competitors did, and it was 15 minutes to talk to a person.
Yeah,
15 minutes.
it's the word.
And
It's
I had a
torture.
phone number that the operator who had direct access to their system was on the phone the moment you called. And so I used to go out and I used to do these sales calls and blah, 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 blah. We talk about all of it. And I would save it to about 3/4 of the way in, because after this, if I felt it was dropping, I would switch over to this and say, here we go. Here's what I'm going to tell you is the difference. And I hit the call button and they go, blah, 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 blah. Operator 27, how can I help you? Hey, I need to check on account, blah, 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 blah. Yep. What signals? Done. Do you need and test? Yes. Done. I never lost a sale
That's it.
doing that.
That's it.
Get rid of your tree prompts and get rid of fucking AI out of your customer service call centers. Get rid of it. There's no value. I don't care what person in what accent told you that it was more efficient.
Don't
It's
go there,
not.
David.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, I totally
Get
agree.
rid of it now.
I totally
You
agree.
get rid. The first company that gets rid of it and starts promoting it, you are going to own that market.
I totally
Whatever
agree.
market you're in, you're going to own it. Get rid of it. Put humans back in touch with other humans, and that's how you make a connection. That's how you build a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Put them there.
And you know what?
Let them do their thing.
If nobody else is doing it, guess what? You're premium. You have a
Yes.
premium product. That's it.
Yes. You can cost more because of that. It's okay.
And people will appreciate it.
People will pay.
People will pay more for that.
Yes. I pay to not have headaches.
That's it. Get it, and it all comes down to it should just work.
It should,
including your
just
customer service. It should
work.
just work.
Yes. Always. It should just work.
That's it. So, Dave, we've been going for about 2.5 hours, and I think we got to the point. Customer
so here's
avatar.
what I came out of tonight. Here's what came out tonight. 1792, the single barrel.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I like it. I like it far better than the Willet pot still.
You like it more.
I do. And Willet pot still's not bad.
Okay.
But I do, when I switched off from the single barrel,
okay,
there was a noticeable step, in my opinion, down. So yeah. So there was that.
Good to know.
B, which should be A, but we'll reclassify to C, and then we'll circle back later once we have the bandwidth. Customer avatars are of the absolute utmost importance. If you are struggling with that and understanding how to apply the logic to build a customer avatar, you are absolutely free to reach out to the Underdog Journey.
Oh, yeah.
West and I will work together. We don't charge anything, folks, until we get really busy.
We should, but we don't. Yeah.
Then we'll get, once we get really busy, then we're going to charge $1 million every call. But we will help you. We do this. This is literally what
we do. We're doing it right now for fun because this is what we do.
Yeah, this is our decompression. This is my night of the week where I'm like, my brain gets to just let loose, and I love it. I love it because this is our fun. Some people go to bowling, some people have dart leagues and things like that. No. Wes and I, we talk business.
We talk business.
We go over strategies, and it really, we're 253 episodes in, and it can't. I would love to go back and get the data and the analytics to see how many times we have tried to drive home how important customer avatars or customer profiles, knowing who you're speaking to, how many times we have said that, because it is so important.
Out of 253, probably 252 at least.
Yes, there might have been one show or two that over the past almost 5 years that snuck by where we didn't talk about it. That's how important it really is. And it's not a joke. We love to have our bourbons and do our stuff, but it's not a joke. We really, this is where we live. This is what we do. And if you don't know who you're talking to, again, even with the same exact product, I could be selling sherbet popsicles, and I'm going to sell sherbet popsicles differently to this group, to this group, to this demographic, to this geographic, to this psychographic, clear across the map.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be successful in each of them because I'm going to define customer avatars in each one of these target areas.
Right. That's it.
So, yeah, I mean, it's great. I really actually did like this article. There was a lot in there. If you can break it apart and look at it for what it truly is, there's actually a lot of value. So, Ivana Johnston and edited by Chelsea Brown, aka ChatGPT and ChatGPT. Great job. This is really good. And even if you guys just helped edit it from ChatGPT, you did a fairly good job. There was only a couple of windows there that you could have improved on.
Yeah, I think
all in all, overall, I'll give it a B.
Yeah, whichever one of these humans was involved, They
Yes.
probably could have broken it down a little bit and made it more accurate. But there were some really good points. I think understanding the ultra, just forget ultra wealthy, just wealthy. Understanding
Yeah.
wealthy people and their buying behaviors and their desires to make those buying behaviors, and again tying it back to the idea of. I'm glad you said psychographics and demographics, and then building that up into a customer avatar. Building a
Yeah.
more full picture could have been beneficial, but that's what we're here for. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But also look at this. These people are looking at their customer avatar. Their customer avatar has an attention span of 2.5 to 3 minutes.
fair enough.
So they have to put this in that order and something quick to read. So if that's what they did, absolutely top marks to you. I think you did a great job. This is something that the normal passerby could read, and it's not a playbook, but it's an introduction so
Right.
that they can build their playbook.
It's passable. Yeah.
Yes, it's passable. So good job. It's very rare that we get things off the internet that that we actually kind of give a thumbs up to. Most of it we're absolutely ridiculing like nobody's business.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those.
So Ivana and
Chelsea, yeah.
Okay job.
Thumbs, 1.5 thumbs up.
Yeah, it's good job. Good job. I liked it. It was good.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. David, it's been 2.5 hours. A little over 2.5 hours.
A little over 2.5 hours.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Just a reminder, everybody,
right.
This July we have our 5-year anniversary coming up.
Is it
years.
30th? Is it 30th?
It's 30th, I think. And
Let's
we're going to be
see.
live at Hopper House, Columbus.
Shenanigans. That was Pornhub. No, it wasn't. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm looking for. Calendar. There it is. Trying to find the calendar app. July the 30th. Yeah, we're right. July 30th. Hoffer House, Columbus.
It's going to be good. We'll give you more details as that comes along. But 5 years of the Underdog journey. It's going to be huge. That's what she said.
So huge. It's going to be so freaking huge.
It's going to be huge. By the way,
huge.
I've been Wes. This guy's been David. We'll see you guys next time.
Feeling infatuated with the in-between, the ups and downs, the curves and the rounds. I bring it to your city or your hometown. I go back in time when the feeling was fine, when funkin' was legal and it wasn't a crime. Party people lined up and down the way, a bigger celebration than your birthday. Funkin' up the neighborhood, I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood, funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt the fool 'cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. And I have seen the world pristine, funk you up in the bushes, funk you down in the trees. Now look